Join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all, hold nothing back. Seize the day, we must attack. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding. Only one will take it all. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we make the final call? We are the ones to ignite the darkened skies. The champions of the world that we defy. A soul array of the few who rise up high. And we all fight at the last light. Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants? Can we bring to fall the giants?
What is going on, everybody? And welcome back to the CCS. We got some intermediate action for you today as Dorado Gaming Omega takes on Lotus Prestige in a best of three. I am Rychainz, joined by Septi. Septi, are you ready for what we're going to see today?
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like these teams are also ready to get right into this. I'm super excited. We have Lotus Prestige coming into this at 1-1. Even on match record, they 2-0'd the first week and then got 2-0'd last week. Dorado Gaming looking to bounce back from a brutal defeat that they played last night after a reschedule to Hard Hat Zone. They brought it to 3 games, but were unfortunately taken down. But we are firing through this draft already. 3 things off the board. Rumble, a classic GOATY champion. GP taken away by Lotus Prestige, and Dorado Gaming is matching this pace with the Lulu Udyr ban. And honestly, I like these bans that I'm seeing so far. The Ashe is a good takeaway. She is a bit nerfed after the Umbral changes, but definitely still a very powerful champion to have in that bot side, a good flex potentially. And I'm curious to see what Dorado Gaming go for because Lotus has shown a lot of desire to play Jarvan and Sejuani in recent weeks, taking away a fairly standard and nice champion that punishes immobile people. So yeah, looking
Yeah,
looking pretty good so far.
Dorado taking away those junglers there with the Jarvan and the Udyr, two pretty strong picks in the meta right now. Trying to pinch that jungle pool a little bit and, don't want to give that Lulu over because Lulu paired up with some of the champions like Dezeri, like Kaisa, is very strong. But with the first pick, Lotus going to take away that Caitlyn, and I like Caitlyn right now in the meta.
She's definitely really strong, and it makes you start to think about what they could pair with her, right? Because we still have the Karma available. With Ashe taken away, it's one of those options that is not quite as good. So Dorado Gaming responded with Varus Sejuani is a very nice pickup. 2 super strong champs that are good for picking out this Caitlyn as she tries to push up and get advantages. But I do expect a pushing partner to come out from Jacob today to match with that Caitlyn. Probably something like a Karma, maybe like a Lux, or maybe even a Morgana after showing such heavy engage from Dorado Gaming. But probably it is going to be that Karma potentially as they are hovering it. But I really do like this pickup from Dorado Gaming, a very powerful 1-2. Um, Varus has been one of those very versatile champions in the meta so far, where you can sort of pivot it to either a poke style or a damage per second style. So it really sort of can't get punished in draft as easily as other champions like Caitlyn. A champion who, if she's not pushing and hitting tower plates, is not doing her job well.
Yeah, but and like you said, paired up with that Karma, giving a little bit of extra poke and pushing power there. And with the third pick for Lotus, they're gonna pick up that Wukong pick that we traditionally see in the jungle here. And also just another very strong pick to match against that Sejuani. And like you said, I wouldn't have been upset if I saw Morgana come out here for Lotus, especially with all of the abilities that can be black shielded on Dorado's side. But Karma is still good, and you know that Lotus is going to want to be playing toward this bot side. We saw last week, one of the teams picked Caitlyn and then didn't play to the bot side at all, or at least as much as they could have, and ended up losing because of that. So we'll see if Lotus opts to play around bot side here, and with the third pick for Dorado, gonna pick up that Nautilus to combine with the Varus in that bottom lane.
Yeah, definitely a very nice pairing, as well as, going along the game plan of we will not, or we will be there to punish this Caitlyn Karma if they do step out of position. Olaf being the ban coming in from Dorado Gaming is a very nice ban for them because it does counter a lot of what they have going for them. The CC coming out of those 3 champions selected being negated by Olaf in combination with Wukong could pose a lot of problems. And Lotus Prestige I actually really like this ban because Cassidy has been a champion that Goaty has been known to play in the past. It also sort of sets up well as a melee mid to pair with that Sejuani along with late game insurance for Dorado Gaming. And so taking that off the board, a very nice look from from Lotus Prestige. My apologies. And I imagine they're going to take away maybe another top laner to look for a ban. No, and it will be Yeetlof's Anivia, which did actually get a little bit of a nerf this patch. But still, a good champion to take away, especially when you have champions like Sejuani and Nautilus who do want to have, or do want to be able to control that space when setting up for a fight.
One thing I want to highlight so far is that Silas still on the table here, a very strong pick, and I know that Hoshi likes to play it in the support role. So we'll see if that, and actually I guess it doesn't matter because Nautilus is picked. But
Yeah,
either way,
Nautilus picked.
even mid lane, I think it's really strong pick. Um, and still, something to look out for might come through. Scion taken away here.
We could see something like maybe an Urgot here from Bennett.
Mhm.
Just because I know.
Oh, whoa! Fizz locked in for Goaty in the mid lane.
Okay, Goaty. I mean, I guess it's technically a strange flex. Fizz probably not going to be a flex, but it is going to be most likely in the mid. I don't really like this pick, especially when you have someone like a Wukong who could just stand in front of the Shark and use their clone. It's nice because it is a pick tool potentially if that Wukong isn't there, but yeah, Lotus Prestige can respond with something really tanky like an Ornn, and maybe even maybe like a Galio even here on 5 here to really counteract this Fizz as well as the engage that they're trying to pile on here. I would like to see something maybe a little bit more tanky or maybe even a little bit more mobile from Lotus Prestige's mid laner here. I don't like that.
Yeah,
Um,
Echo would be really strange. I agree. I mean, my only concern right now, okay, well, yeah, Echo locked in. My concern for Lotus is that they don't have enough damage to actually match up with Dorado's composition. You have the Caitlyn, but if Caitlyn falls behind, you have really no one that's, you know, if no one's going to be doing damage, at least, if this Echo is not super far ahead as well. And I think I
we
don't
need some
exactly know
crazy
what the
hovers.
Fizz, yeah, I don't exactly know what the Fizz into Echo matchup is, but I
I
can't
imagine it's
imagine.
I imagine it's pretty jungle favored.
Yeah.
Whichever one is able to influence more, will probably come out on top. Fizz definitely has the potential to early kill this Echo. Has the potential to kill this Echo early on in the game. But yeah, no, like you were saying, I don't really like Lotus Prestige's draft for now, just because if this Caitlyn Karma falls behind, the Wukong doesn't really have a lane to play through anymore.
Yeah.
Because the Echo into the Fizz matchup is not reliable CC enough for either to get a lead. Which means that if the Wukong, starts to lose on that bottom side and starts to allow this Varus Nautilus to move freely around the map, it's going to mean that Wukong is losing resources and is losing the ability to be part of that front line and output damage, which means that realistically you're left with Karma base damages on Mantra as well as the Ornn passives to be doing your damage. And speaking of that Ornn, this guy Zongi picked the Ornn with Camille still available. As a Camille player themselves, I'm sure that they were aware of this matchup. So I am a little bit concerned for that top side there because just the way it looks right now is you have an even bot lane, a skill match at mid lane, and then a losing top lane for Lotus Prestige. Um, and Camille, is not just a soft counter into that Ornn. It is a very hard counter, something that might not be as great in the first 3 levels, but once she backs and gets that Sheen and first item, there is no one in the game, not a single person in this game can contest her. Not the Echo, not the Wukong, not even the Caitlyn Karma, because Camille will be able to 1v2 them.
Yeah, I think that's a good point there. This Camille is just gonna be able to take over the game, if not put significantly behind early, and just a good usage of that last pick. And someone said that the Fizz into Echo is Fizz favored, which it makes sense. And you
I'm
mentioned
not
that
surprised.
Fizz has the wave, has the angles early, but yeah, I'm not quite sure what exactly was happening with Lotus's draft here. I'm definitely favoring Dorado, at least from the champion select so far.
Yeah, I mean, you even said it in the second round of bans, right? That the Silas was still available. And if you were really that desperate to play an AP melee mid laner, I feel like you should have just played the Silas because you would have denied them
Definitely.
picking something like the Ornn or even been able to take that away. The Chrono Shift is great on Silas as well. Um, but I mean, I just want to talk
Every
about
ult.
yeah, pretty much every ult. Maybe not Caitlyn ulti. It's good. Um, as a finisher, maybe. I don't think it's very good on Silas just because I don't think the ratios are as nice for him. Especially when you're going a more tanky style with that Roa build. But I do want to talk about sort of what we expect going into this game. I would like to see this Wukong living in the bot side. I don't care if it's invading level 1 to try and fight them. I think they might. I think they win that actually. If Varus goes poke, which could actually be very possible given the damage that they have alongside them in the Camille and Fizz. But Matchy on Varus, as long as they don't get completely caught out by the Nautilus hook, I could see this Caitlyn Karma and Wukong causing a lot of headaches for Dorado Gaming's bot side.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's their only way that they have. That's their only angle to win. I think is if to get this Kalen really far ahead, and Ornn, good luck up top. But know that Camille is going to be a problem later, and just try and peel the Camille and kite back the disengage or kite back and disengage from what Dorado is going to be throwing at them. But we'll have to see here. As we have concluded our draft for game number 1 between Lotus, Prestige, and Dorado Gaming. Get your votes in. Tell us who you guys got for game number 1. We're going to take a short break, but we will be on to the Rift shortly for game number 1. And we are on to the Rift for the first game of this series between Lotus and Dorado. We got a 5-minute invade coming out into this top side from Dorado. We'll see if Hoshi is able to land the hook. No, it
Just a
goes
little bit,
wide.
just a little bit wide there from Hoshi, but they are going to get some nice vision onto the spot side here, or at least I presume they're going to get some vision. Goat going to get level 2 early if no one steals his XP. All right, well, very nicely done. A successful invade from Dorado. They get level 2 on Fizz on the first wave, as well as Flay is trying to cook in in chat. But yeah, very nice invade from Dorado Gaming. And something I want to point out is Yeetlov has gone for a very, very aggressive setup in this game so far. Decided to go for the Dark Seal with refillable potions. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that seems like he's ready to fight the entire game.
It definitely is what that looks like. Usually you take Darksteel when you're trying to get those stacks up. You're trying to you know, get some kills and transform it into a Mage Eyes. But I don't know if that's gonna be going on this game. I mean, we already talked about how Fizz has the early favorability, but oh, wait a minute. Hook lands onto Jacob and a lot of damage coming down. Ignite is here as well. Jacob has to burn the flash to get away. We'll see if Dorado continues forward, but nice trading back, and Matt G not taking pretty low. One more honor should be enough to do it. The flash to follow, and Akon the Kid finds first blood.
Yeah, Akon playing that really nicely. Double flashes burned on the side of Lotus Prestige, but honestly, you take that every time for first blood. I was gonna say before, Akon played that so well, is that I would have liked to have seen Matt G pop that ghost really early in the fight. Could have been able to catch up with that karma after she flashed as well. And we were talking about this as sort of champ select loaded, right? Looking at Matt G summoners and the team that he's up against, I would have really liked to have seen an exhaust. And I think if you have exhaust there, you definitely live as well. Purely because, right? Yeah, you win because the people who are damaging you this game are really going to be the Echo and the Wukong later on. As Banger is going for an invade here.
Oh, man. Banger. Red buff's going to go over to Russell, but Banger continuing forward, trying to get those stacks up for the stun, but we'll just get the flash out from Russell. So, you know, just getting that summoner spell out is going to be rough, and trying to take away these Krugs as well.
Nice little invade from Banger, and WrestleMe shouldn't have any say in that invade there. It does look like they're pushed off, though, because the bot lane is returning, but Banger with a nice little invade, forcing the flash off of Wukong, and maybe going to even try and sit on his Raptors and force a play. Maybe no, looking at mid lane here. Does have Goaty, who can stack up that Sejuani passive. Heatlove is going to just E. Should not be in any danger whatsoever. Banger may be overstepping a little bit with that gank, sort of not using the tempo that he earned from that invade. But I would have liked to have seen maybe, actually, no, that was a very nice invade from Banger. Sort of not what you expect to see from a Sejuani. Not the dueling type of champion, but WrestleMe must have made a mistake or two in that clear, being as low as they were. But we see a wave crashing on the bot side. Should be very nice for Dorado so far.
That bottom crab going over to Banger gonna give the Dorado bot lane a little bit more comfortability with that extra vision and such. But in the top lane, HP is favored for Zongi so far. You know, you mentioned in the champion select that once that Sheen comes through for Camille, this champion gets a lot scarier. And these junglers both on the top side right now. Banger trying to find that double crab and will successfully there. Might look for something on.
Goaty can go for a kill here, actually.
Oh, here we go. And Goaty under the tower. With the Ignite ticking, shield's going to be enough to keep Yelo alive. But now into the top lane we go here as Banger looking for this gank, going to find the stun onto Zongi. Bennett follows up, but Zongi will flash away from the Camille jumping at his face. And another summoner spell burned for Lotus here.
Yeah, Banger getting another summoner out from the side of Lotus. Playing it very well in this early game. Sort of not farming too great, but doing a nice job of getting pressure on the map. A very respectful flash coming up from Zongi. Even when, you know, I don't know if Bennett might have had the damage to do it, but honestly, very well played from Banger to be able to double crab and get back onto the map pretty early on, actually, in comparison to this Wukong. We'll have a first base, as we should see WrestleMe recall after these wolves. We will. But let's see what Banger can do with this priority on the map. We should see him maybe just look to clear his camps, as he still does have a couple level 1 camps available. But other than that, I mean, this game is actually proceeding fairly slowly based on, I mean, at least compared to what we thought might happen with the picks coming in. Meatloaf and Goaty being pretty tame in the mid lane. And, you know, besides the bot lane having a very spicy, you know, 2v2 at level 1, the game has been pretty chill. We see Wukong returning to the bot side to pair with Sejuani, so we could be seeing a return to the top side, a potential fight on that Herald. But as I say this, we see WrestleMe looking towards the mid lane and hovering this crash, which is a very nice look because they don't really know where Sejuani is, and hovering this crash could mean that Goaty gets baited in. Shark goes out.
Level 6, and Shark goes a bit wide, so Goaty will not advance any further. But I do want to mention just the CS leads in these solo lanes for Dorado. About 2 or 3 waves in favor of Goaty in that mid lane, and Bennett here just pushing these waves in top. Zongi's been able to catch up a little bit and almost even it out, but that lead was about 14 or 15 before this wave crashed.
Yeah, the one downside of that gank at the top side before was that Zongi's wave actually did crash while they traded his flash. But other than that, we see Banger actually going for an invade on this top side. Should know that that blue buff is spawning in 10 seconds time. Because while you don't get the timers, you know, originally if you don't see the camp, you do get the timer once it's 10 seconds away from spawning. So does know that that blue buff is available, and that Wukong is not on that side.
Aggressing forward onto Goaty. Ignite has him ticked. Stun comes through. A few more autos should be enough to do it, and Yelo finds the solo kill onto Goaty.
And that's really disrespectful from Goat there. Had the flash available, could have flashed out of, what is it, the parallel convergence, I believe is what it's called? Could be wrong. Yeah, I'm right. It's the parallel convergence, the Wukong W. Yeah, a little disrespectful from Fizz, maybe thinking that Echo did not have the damage to kill them there. And a very interesting play coming out from WrestleMe because they came onto the map, went mid lane to hover a crash, walked into the bot side jungle of Banger, found nothing. Went down to the bot side, didn't find a play, went back, took their Krugs, and is now reset again. So, not really getting a whole lot done on the map is this Wukong, and is probably going to fall behind in XP because of it, I say, as Banger hits level 6 and is immediately looking on the Flash of Zorn.
Yeah, here we go. Zongi aggressing forward too. Big wave here, and gonna do a lot of damage to Bennett, but Forge God will be called in, and yeah, I mean, this is just a dead Ornn here. No flash. And they should be able to finish this one off nicely. Or hopefully they can give the kill over to Bennett. But Zongi's putting a good fight in. Banger is going to have the last hit there as Goaty aggresses forward in this mid lane again. But WrestleMe is here for that extra safety. And with the jungler for Dorado showing topside, Lotus is going to start up this dragon.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed. Banger should know that this dragon is getting started up after showing on bot side or on top side for as long as he did. Is going to reset down to the bot side. Not really get much of this unless Machi is able to snipe this away. Does not have the enchanted arrow, but they could look to go on this. Yetlov does have the ulti, right? This is some Echo tech that I think I should explain. It looks like he doesn't have his ulti skilled, but that is just something that Echoes do to fool the enemy, right? If you don't know what the Echo's ulti timer is, or if you don't see the trail behind the Echo, you don't actually know if his ulti is up or not. But so the next time Yeetlov gets in danger from Goaty or from a gank, we should see them skill it and use it immediately. But it's just one of those things that the Echo player sort of keeps in mind and knows when where their ulti is while they're fighting, and will skill it at the appropriate time. But looking on this bot side, we see a potential bait coming in from the side of Dorado, or maybe it's just WrestleMe is sniffing out the Banger is trying to sneak into this bot side bush.
Both junglers now in this bottom side. Expect the 3v3. All the flashes are back up here as the hook lands. Oh, look at the damage onto Akon, flashing away, able to survive for the time being. As now WrestleMe spinning in the back lines, but it looks like he is just going to go down here as Matt G firing off the back. Going to find the last hit there.
Here comes Goat.
Here comes Goaty. Does he have anything? He has the Shark. He has the flash. Shark goes wide again as Jacob trying to run for the hills, using the flash to get to safety. And the root should be enough to get the bottom lane of Lotus out of that play. And overall, 1-0 in favor of Dorado.
1-0 for Dorado for sure, but they definitely left a lot on the table there. Goaty could have at least picked up one kill had they used their Playful Trickster well enough on that Karma E. I'm pretty sure you're still able to cast your E2, even if you are rooted mid-E. So maybe a little bit of a misplay from Goat there. Could have also landed on top of both of them with the flash after Caitlyn threw the tilt-over Peacemaker from the bush. But playing it, pretty respectfully, holding onto their flash, knowing what kind of damage could become of them in the mid lane if they are flashless. But overall, a positive play for Dorado, but definitely could have been a lot more.
Ooh, Zangi looking for this solo kill here, but a nice use of the Hextech ultimatum to dodge out of the Ornn ultimate. Bennett feeling it in this lane here and might look for a kill here. I feel like with Hoshi roaming up.
Yeah.
Yeetlov is here too, though, so damage is in favor of Lotus for the time being as Hoshi has to run for the hills. Zongi gonna find the knockup onto one here as Bennett looking. Zongi taking really, really low. One more auto should be enough to take it down, and Bennett will find the kill there, but Yeetlov going onto the tower, gonna get hooked, gonna get rooted. No, flashing instead to take down Bennett and using the ultimate to get away to safety.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. Yeetlov didn't have the ulti skilled before, but immediately leveled it and popped it right away. We could see a potential gank onto the bot side from Banger if he hops over this wall. No cleanse on Akon means that could be a very nice kill onto this Caitlyn here, as here we go. Ulti lands onto Karma.
Chain of Corruption. Oh, the Glacier Prism snipes Akon out, and this should be 2-0 in favor of Dorado there as Banger finds the first kill. Jacob running for the hills. Stun will come through after one more auto, and hopefully they can donate this kill back over to Matt G, and they will indeed. The bottom lane for Dorado accelerated in this game.
Yeah, very nice cross-map play as Goaty is potentially going to get gone on here. Does Playful Trickster out, but Cyclone is there.
Yeah, I should just be able to use Flash to get away, and Goaty's going to survive. And up 30 CS, though, in this mid lane.
Yeah, up 30 CS, but that flash to me seems a little bit poorly used. Was definitely maybe a little bit scared of getting hit by that second Cyclone, but I don't think they were actually in danger of going down there. Yeetlov had basically used their entire combo just to reach the tower. And so Goaty would have just been able to walk out from the Wukong. Maybe was instead just trying to hold on to their HP in the lane. Trying to play more of a macro style of maybe a macro flash as opposed to being afraid for their life. But either way, the entire side of Dorado Gaming is up on this top side to try and take this Herald, which is actually a fairly decent timer, as the Karma and the Caitlyn have not been able to push that bot wave in, as Goaty getting a nice trade onto Yeetlov. Yeetlov has committed into this fight, but does have the ulti available, and will phase drive out. What is the passive called? Z-Drive Resonance. No, it's Z-Drive Resonance. Oh, hook lands.
Oh, hook lands onto Hoshi, and the double ultimates come out here. Corner break is used and dodged out nicely. The health is not enough, and Goaty's gonna find the last hit there on to Yeetlov, but will get traded back. And Banger in the mid lane with this Herald. Forge God has been summoned. Hoshi gets knocked up. We'll see if they want to continue forward here as the Cyclone's not available. And it looks like they are still going to try. Hoshi taking pretty low as the knockup comes onto Banger. Banger is a little bit tanky and trying to fight this back here as WrestleMe is 1 HP, goes down to Hoshi. And now Zangi is in trouble, going to get stunned up. Banger should have the damage to finish this out here. We'll see when the abilities come back up. Oh, that second part of the W misses. And Zangi fights back and keeps their life.
Yeah, Hoshiumi playing on the edge there. Just finding a very nice bait in that mid lane. Did look a little bit strange to try and fight there when there didn't really seem to be an ability to do it. But once Lotus Prestige, went a little bit too far forward, Banger and Hoshi both knew that they could turn and make that trade happen. But very nicely done. And while that play happened, it was a very gold positive play for Dorado. Bennett was able to take 2 plates on that top side there, as Cody is not coming off the loud pedal in this mid lane matchup. Constantly fighting Yeetloaf, is up only 20 CS now. So very nicely done from Yeetloaf to be able to come back into this game CS wise. But just looking around the map, right, we have honestly CS numbers pretty evened out across the whole map. Even a CS lead in the top side for Zongi after Bennett was uncontested in the lane for as long as he was. But Zongi could get caught out here. Does have no flash, no call of the Forge God, and does not know where Banger is.
We'll have to check back in there as Bennett now going in, gonna get knocked up. Banger now makes their way over. Glacial Prism's not available yet, as it will be soon. Banger going in, and uh-oh, yeah, it looks like Zongi is just gonna accept the fate here and try and run, but there's really nowhere to run, especially without flash. Hextech Ultimatum used just to secure it and not waste more time. But again, on the other side, Lotus taking the initiative and securing this second dragon for themselves.
Yeah, Dorado should be trying to trade both top and mid tower for this play. Ooh, ulti coming in, going incredibly wide. Hoshi, you mean?
Oh, look at this CC coming through here as Akon has to run, uses that cleanse to get out, but WrestleMe is here. Flashes, gets the knockup onto Matchy with the Cyclones. The Ghost will be utilized. And it looks like both of these Dorado bot laners will be able to get out with their lives, but we'll see if they want to make a counter engage here. Hoshi with the flash will get the flash out of Jacob as the hook does not land. 4v4 in this bottom side.
Jacob with a very unorthodox flash there to get away, flashing backwards instead of away from the hook. Could have been very nice. Shark coming out onto Jacob.
Connect onto Jacob. Go looking for it. Is gonna find the damage, but falls back down right onto it. Caitlyn trapped with Yeevoth in the backline, trying to find Matchy. Cannot with the damage as top tower will go down in favor of Bennett there, and 2 kills to 1 in this bottom side play in favor of Dorado Gaming Omega.
Yeah, Dorado Gaming get first tower on the top side as well as 2 kills on that bot side there. Very nicely played and very nicely traded. I don't actually know if Zongi's allowed to be up in this wave with Bennett having Divine Sunder, but will definitely not be allowed to be there once Bennett has Vamp Scepter as well. I guess is going for that Ravenous Hydra on the Camille. But honestly, very nicely played from Dorado. Sort of strange that, Lotus Prestige opted into those fights on the bot side there. But, I mean, Matchy played it very well. I have to compliment him. After the performance that he had on stream, where he was potentially overstepping and overplaying his hand in a bunch of those matches, played it very nicely there, ghosted away from the Wukong, was not afraid to get hit by that second Cyclone, and as a result was able to have their flash to survive the Wukong re-engage in that fight on the bot side there and secure that 2-for-0 kill lead. But with that said, we do have to talk about this Dragon lead that Lotus have accrued for them, right? Banger has made some plays on the top side that WrestleMe has done a very nice job of punishing on the bot side. But while Dragons are a potential win condition for the side of Lotus, the gold lead has ballooned to 6K throughout these 17 minutes that we've been in game. And Dorado Gaming is definitely playing like they have the gold lead, right? They're walking forward, playing super aggressively. They are not afraid of anything in this bot side jungle.
Yeah, I don't think they're too worried about the 2 dragons going over, just like you said, because they have such a big gold lead across the map. I mean, if you look at the scoreboard right now, all members except for Goaty have that bounty on their head. So all very far ahead here. The objective bounties have not spawned yet, which, kind of tells that the lead is not that big and gives a little bit of hope to Lotus here. But this is a tough task to overcome this lead, especially against a team composition that has all of these go buttons.
Yeah, I would imagine that the gold lead hasn't, or the bounties haven't shown up purely because Lotus is sitting on these dragons. I think if any fight were to break out, it would just be completely Dorado favored. But something we have to remember, right, is that Dorado Gaming is a content org. So even though they have a 6K gold lead, they could easily opt into a fight that is potentially not in their favor and throw that lead. As we see, Sejuani looking for a wraparound onto Ornn, while the Wukong, Karma, and Caitlyn could very easily rotate over to this. But Zongi,
we got
already
fights
low.
all over. Zongi getting put in that Hextech Ultimatum, Call of the Forge God, but no one is answering as Yeetloaf on the bottom side has to run and use that flash to get out. Winning again across the map here for Dorado, but Look at Lotus in this mid lane, taking down the mid tier 1. Gonna
Yeah,
get
they
some
could
gold
get
back
caught
for
now.
themselves. And
Look at this
oh,
collapse.
this looks bad. This is a huge collapse from Dorado here as Rusmi is first on the table. Akon is on the wrong side of the map. He's gonna fall as Jacob now the next target. Chain of Corruption just for good measure, and 2 more fall for Lotus. And it looks like Dorado's gonna split their attention, getting this Herald and getting these mid towers.
Yeah, hook going
Oh,
on
no.
to the
Oh, never
clone. I mean, that's not bad. The hook landed, right? Hoshi did hit the hook. But this is very nice. I do want to see Machi and Hoshi actually recall here. There's no reason for them to stay when this dragon is spawning in the next 45 seconds, right? Machi is sitting on 1,500 gold. Hoshi's sitting on 1,000 themselves. And for supports, 1,000 gold is essentially a whole item's worth. Which, you know, doesn't sound right, but, you know, for supports, it makes sense. He could easily buy, you know, maybe a Kindle Gem or a stopwatch on the anchor guy. But yeah, we will see Hoshiumi finally take that reset along with Bennett and Banger, who are going to get to this bot side river first. Vision timing out just in time for Dorado Gaming to know where these Lotus Prestige members are going to be entering the jungle from and have a decent idea of what angle they need to come at this themselves. But I have to credit, you know, Banger and Bennett. They're playing it fairly slowly right now, waiting for the rest of their team to show up. But as a result, Jacob has been able to put some decent vision down. Banger playing very aggressively. Yeetlove caught out.
Should just be able to get out there, and you know, of course, the dragon has spawned. It is mountain, which means that the rift has transformed here. Hoshi gonna take a little bit of damage from Akon, and right now Lotus has prime positioning on this dragon in this river. They have the control. We'll see what Dorado can do pushing forward. Machi has, I guess everyone has, everyone besides Jacob has their mythics completed here, so
Yeah,
have
but
some of that power.
Goaty is not warded out, and Banger knows this. Goaty on the flank. Banger going in.
Ooh. Oh, Machi a bit too far forward. Could get taken out here. Use the Chain of Corruption, but the forward guard will be called. Akon gets hooked. Has to run for the hills. The Depth coming through. Gonna knock him up and take him down. Jacob will fall as well here as Banger goes on the rampage, and WrestleMe has to run for the hills. Yeetlove in the middle of 4 members here will fall as well. Zongi, the last remaining healthy member standing, but not for long, as Dorado goes 4 for 1. They wipe the team fight, and they're gonna find themselves the dragon.
Ooh, it's a good thing Dorado Gaming is fed, because they left Machi out to dry there. If this fight had been a little bit more even, we could have been in a lot more danger, but Machi getting caught out there meant that the rest of Lotus Prestige had their backs turned to the onslaught that was Dorado Gaming from the backside there. And just looking at this, you know, replay right here, we are going to see the end of the fight, right? Just, you know, trying to get whatever damage out. Just Banger living on 1 HP as well from that Ornn passive is just a little bit unfortunate. If you're Lotus Prestige, you would have liked to have seen at least 1 kill besides, you know, Machi go back your way. But, you know, honestly, a very nicely played fight. They were able to secure the first Mountain Dragon for the side of Dorado, and I imagine that that fight is probably going to spell the beginning of the end for Lotus Prestige.
Gold lead increases to 8,000 at just as we crest the 22-minute mark in this game. And yeah, Dorado completely in the driver's seat here. Jacob is in danger here. Might just get caught out completely if Banger opts to use the ultimate, but Jacob will get bailed out by the rest of the team. And see if Bennett can find this 1v1 onto Yeetlove here. Bennett, very strong. Yeetlove now has to run for the hills. And everyone just trying to push these waves out. And we'll really see how Dorado's macro game is here, right? They have the lead. They've gotten to this point in the game. Can they close it out is kind of the big question.
Yeah, I'd like to see them honestly just push in mid and top and then instantly start this Baron. As Banger is just no fear running around this top side. But I mean, realistically, this is not being well played. At least the mid wave is not being well played by Dorado, right? They're letting it go all the way into their yeah, they're letting it go all the way into their second tier, which is really letting Lotus Prestige come back in and contest some of this vision. Granted, you know, they could get caught out here. Wukong does have the clone though to eat that hook. Goaty potentially could get caught. Zongi on the flank has a very nice angle for an ulti here. Does not, you know it yet, but will soon.
Yeah, Bennett's not here yet. Does have the TP though, can join.
Bennett's not here, but we do have a 5v4 temporarily. And if you're Lotus Prestige, you have to start this fight and pull the trigger so that Bennett is forced to TP. I think if you do this, that stops Dorado from having as much pressure on the Baron. Here we go.
Forge God is called in. Chain of Corruption has the potential to be massive here as WrestleMe into the backside, causing havoc onto Machi, but will go down. Goaty's gonna find the kill there as Bennett has joined the party. Hexag Ultimatum onto Zongi as Zongi is trapped and will go down. Akon gonna get looted up as well here, and that's 3 already dead for Lotus Prestige. The Baron should be the next one on the table here for Dorado Gaming, as they could send some members to even push forward with this Rift Tail that they dropped in the mid lane.
Yeah, the Rift Tail dropped at a sort of awkward time. I guess it might have been timing out for Banger, but a very nice fight win coming out from Dorado. I mean, this is what happens when, you know, the game goes as poorly as it has for Lotus Prestige, right? You have your Caitlyn, who's meant to be, you know, burning down this Nautilus and the Sejuani, who are so tanky and fed. That is just not going to happen. The Ornn isn't going to be is not going to do enough damage to burn them down. The Wukong is busy diving the Varus and is not going to be able to shred this front line for the Caitlyn. So even, you know, if WrestleMe is going that Cleaver second, the way they're playing this game currently is such that, you know, they're not even going to be shredding the target of the correct person for Akon to hit. But ultimately, like, very nicely played from Dorado Gaming. They did get the TP off of Bennett, which is going to be maybe a little bit better. Could allow them an opportunity to maybe TP Zongi on a flank later on, and look for a 4v5 in earnest, because, you know, that was not it. If you're Lotus Prestige at this point, you're probably just trying to think about, you know, what potential picks you can have. You don't really have many tools besides the Call of the Forge God. And if you're Dorado, you're trying to just spread out into this 1-3-1, use your Baron to the best of their ability, because you have 2 very solid side lanes that probably have the ability to not get caught by any of these members of Lotus Prestige, right? Bennett should not be allowing Zongi to clear this wave. Yeah, very nicely done walking in. Some trading on the bot side. Goaty taking a massive amount of damage from Yelof.
Shark misses here, and Yelof can use that ultimate. This should be a solo kill for Yelof here, as Goaty's gonna go golden, try to buy time for Banger to get back in. Flash away from the Glacier Prism as Goaty flashes forward. Yelof cannot find the auto with the phase dive and goes down, and now Bennett aggressing onto Zongi. I mean, this is so impossible for Zongi to even match up in this lane now at all.
Yeah, Goaty almost made me eat my words about not being able to get caught out there. Would have actually lost that 1v1 to Yelof had Banger not shown up, but doing a very nice job to use the Playful Trickster to jump onto the troll pole and just live barely, using the flash as well to proc that damage while coming down from the pole. And I don't really like this, because Dorado Gaming should be pushing in the mid.
Here we go. Forge God has been called. WrestleMe gets hit with the Shark, as now Chanacrush is going to stun. Oh, so many people here. Zongi is the lone person in the front line. WrestleMe goes down. Akon and Jacob have to run for this, with a flash hook from Hoshi connects onto Akon, and now Jacob 1 HP. Matchy is running at him with the Ghost. Will not be able to catch him though, as 4 members strong of Dorado pushing in this bottom side. Bennett on the top side, uncontested here, as Yelof aggresses onto Goaty. They're trying to turn their sights onto Yelof. Has that ultimate still available, as Bennett now going in. Yelof 1 HP. Not enough damage to take him down there, as the inhibitors will fall. And there's still some time, but I expect that Dorado will regroup.
This should be the end of the game here. Akon's in 5 seconds. Maybe Dorado Gaming gets some cold feet. Maybe they tried to hit these, you know, these inhibs for maybe a little bit too long. They could have just picked one wave and ended the game, but instead they're going to try and be completionists in this game. They're going to be taking all 3 inhib towers, all 3 inhibs with this Baron, and then potentially exit and grab their second Mountain Dragon as well. Shark, or Lobster should I say, going out. Not really finding anything. Dorado Gaming whiffing on a bunch of key ultis.
Oh, Zongi, you are too far forward, and you are dead now, as Goaty goes unstoppable. We're going to go golden for the time being, but the trap under is nice from Akon. Cannot find the auto, though, as Hoshi with the peel and the CC is enough. Look at Yelof in the backside finding Hoshi, and it's still
hold on.
4v4.
It's 4v4, but Dorado
Bennett
Gaming is not doing lasting damage, because Prestige has been able to go back and heal this up, right? Dorado Gaming stuck on half HP without their ultimates currently. Could mean that WrestleMe could find a nice Cyclone here.
Next is open here as Chain of Corruption comes through. Watch WrestleMe trying to get into the back line. Cyclone knocks up onto 2, but just gets almost instantly one-shotted by Dorado Gaming, as now Bennett is in trouble. Gonna go down as the 900 gold shutdown goes over to Yelof. Yelof continuing forward. Matchy, no mana. Shark connects though, but not the stun, as the Immortal Shield has been popped. Yelof goes golden for the time being here and will fall as Matchy goes on a rampage, but the Nexus is open and the base is in shambles for Lotus Prime.
Yeah, a little bit questionable engage from Yelof there. Did not quite have the Chrono Shift available, and Goaty could be caught out here by Zongi. Does have the Playful Trickster to get away from it, but very nicely played. I mean, Dorado Gaming getting everything from Lotus Prestige's base, as well as this second dragon to their name. Does mean that this game, should end, but Lotus, could potentially farm back into this game if they're able to hold out for the next 5 minutes or so for these inhibs to respawn. But realistically, you know, looking at this, I'm trying to think about what draft adaptations Lotus and or Dorado are going to make going into this next game. I think the Fizz might be giving you some false positive data. You know, it won and it played okay, but I don't know if it was, you know, the right pick for this game. It did look to be a little bit vulnerable in the side lane, in what, you know, should have been a fairly winning matchup for the Fizz. I mean, Zongi, Zongi has to reconsider picking these, oh boy, Zongi has to reconsider picking this orange. Sorry, I was reading the chat in the game. There appears to be some banter happening. I mean, if you're Lotus, what side are you taking next game, Rai?
I mean, I think blue side is fine. They just need to. They picked no like engaged champions besides the Wukong, and the Ornn just got destroyed. So it's really hard. I liked how Resumi played around that bot side early, and you know, even with Matt G completely charity donating a kill over. But hold on one second here, as Zongi calling the forward. Got a nice knockup with the depth charge though to stop the R2 from the Ornn. We'll see if they have to go for this fight. They should, because Dorado wants to end this game. Glacier Prism goes wide. Shark's gonna hit onto 2. As Resumi now into the backline spinning with the Cyclone. This is just destruction here coming out for Dorado Gaming, as 2 are already dead. 3 now to follow. The Nexus will fall, and Lotus Prime will also fall in this game number 1. Dorado Omega taking it in dominating fashion.
Yeah, Dorado Gaming is pissed off after last night. They didn't want to lose that series, and they took it out on Lotus Prestige in this game 1. But ultimately, you know, a very nicely played out series, or not series, first game from Dorado Gaming, right? We talked about what Lotus had to do in this first game to sort of make their draft plan stick, and they were not able to do it, right? The bot lane did not really fall behind too much, even though the jungler for Lotus Prestige was able to trade a bunch of early dragons. Dorado Gaming never put themselves in a position to be punished super hard. Even in the mid lane, you know, Fizz did do the job that it was supposed to do, right? It threatened the enemy mid laner for Lotus, and it got a lead to a certain point, as well as was strong in this late game. But honestly, looking into this, you know, second game, you have to rethink these bans, right? The GP, the Rumble, are they worth banning when there's something like this Varus and Sejuani that are able to lock you up and really cause problems for your team? We don't really know what side select is going to be. We could probably tell you in a second, but I do want to see something changed, right? Whether it's you pick a different jungler, you pick a more aggressive jungler, or you try and take away one of the picks that was problematic for you, or as we talked about in draft, right? Yulof is an Anivia player. Maybe you try and pick it for them early and deny these counter picks like the Fizz that Goaty could potentially play into it. But either way, I hope to see something different. Lotus have some work to do going into this game too, and we'll see what they got.
Yeah, we will see, as definitely some draft adaptations need to be made here, but we're going to take a short break before we get into the pick and the ban for game number 2. We'll be right back. And we are back for the pick and the ban of game number 2 between Dorado Gaming Omega and Lotus Prestige. We got a side swap coming in for this game. And as we're getting into this draft here, Septi, what are you looking forward to seeing in this second pick ban?
Well, just judging by the bans so far in this game, it seems that both teams are really sticking to the guns so far. Lotus Prestige really not wanting to play against Godie's Rumble. Dorado Gaming deciding that there wasn't really anything wrong with those first two bans as well, with the Lulu and the Udyr. I'm curious to see what the switch up is. I imagine the champions that we might see fall through are something like Jarvan, Caitlyn, Sejuani. Oh, Jarvan, nope, going to be taken off the board. But Lotus Prestige could set themselves up to trade something like the Varus or the Sejuani here, but Dorado Gaming has not really been known to play this Caitlyn in the bot side, and so Lotus Prestige could potentially be getting a Caitlyn and Sejuani for themselves, if they would like. Sejuani actually gonna maybe hit the ban table here for Lotus Prestige. So the Boar Rider is honestly, I agree with that was a problem for them, right?
Yeah.
Just a very strong front line that they could not break through. But I'm curious to see what Omega picks. I imagine it will just be that Varus again. Was very solid from Matt G in that game. Has a very nice bit of utility in the Blighted Arrows. Oh, really? I'm just going to eat my words. Caitlyn is going to be the pickup for Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, I Magi did have a good performance despite the level 1 where the PayPal had cleared and he completely inted, but we're going to get a reverse of the 80 carries in this bottom lane here, as we're going to get Varus for Lotus and Caitlyn for Dorado this game. And I didn't really think that bot lane was too big of a point of contention in that last game. I think the game is won off of just the lead that Bennett got top, and also just like the overall team fighting, because even though Lotus's bot lane got ahead early, like it didn't matter. They still couldn't do anything in that game.
Yeah, the reason more so that I don't really like this Dorado pick or this Caitlyn pick for Dorado is because Hoshiumi is not really known as sort of an enchanter player. Like they won't be playing, like he doesn't play Karma, he won't play Lux. So with a pick like Caitlyn being taken, I imagine we could just see something like the Nautilus again coming up from Hoshi. Maybe look for a melee support that is going to be that setup for the Caitlyn. Ashe, now that I think about it, has been left on the board this game, but Lux is going to be the hover. This is interesting. I don't really know Hoshiumi as a Lux player, but could potentially come in here this game. Godie is also known potentially to take that Lux in the mid lane, but a certainly strong matchup. Or strong partner for that Caitlyn. Could be Sylas as well.
They should pick it now.
If they were gonna pick it, they would pick it here. I don't really know if the game is set up for a Sylas so far. Maybe we'll see something sort of like a Maokai, maybe a Wukong themselves.
Oh,
now
this is Chip's gaining so much popularity just because and I've been seeing a lot of people just building full lethality on it and just completely one-shotting everyone. So we'll see if we get that this game, but I think this champ is really good right now.
Yeah, Banger definitely the type of player to build that that full lethality style. But I don't really like the Vi in this situation just because you have Vi, who is a really aggressive go forward champion, and you have Caitlyn Lux, who are more of your stand your ground. We will combo you into infinity sort that really relies on having a strong front line. Maokai pickup from Lotus Prestige is just going to be more of that lockdown and zone control to pair with that Karma. Curious to see what Wrestling Me decides to go for this game, considering the Demonic did get nerfed as well as Maokai Saplings did get nerfed as well. But could still go for the build. It's still somewhat viable, just not as potent with the poke damage. But the zone control with the Saplings definitely very nice. And moving into the second round of bans, Dorado Gaming Omega definitely not wanting to play against that Olaf in this game when they have super squishy bot laners in this Caitlyn and this Lux. But Lotus Prestige sticking to their guns with these second round bans of Sion, and everyone's going to keep second round bans in this game. No one wants to see those pocket picks from the other team.
Yep, and we'll see what Lotus opts to go for here on this 4. It's going to be blind. So I expect
It will be blind. It could just be the Ornn again, or it could be the Camille, to be honest. Zongi does
I
like
don't want
playing
it to be a Ornn because of the fact that Ornn blind. We saw how Ornn blind went into Camille last game, and I don't think that I don't think Zongi wants to put himself through that again. But that's just what I think. I could be wrong. Maybe he, likes getting dumpstered in lane.
I don't really like this Ari pick. It is an answer to Vi. It sort of is anti-synergistic again to the composition you've been building, right? You have this zone control composition with the Karma, with the Varus, and with the Maokai, that should be able to just step into any fight position that they want and just lock down the area. Gragas is actually a very nice answer. Provides some frontline for the Caitlyn Lux. Is tanky enough to survive the Ahri. Also is a top lane flex. So I'm curious to see if Dorado would like to pick up something that could go top lane as well. But Gragas, I think, more of a GOAT champion than a Bennett champion. So we'll see what they decide to lock in here for the top lane. Gragas definitely a good blind in the top lane, but we'll see what they want into the Ahri potentially. But I think it could be Gragas mid.
I think you can even go Vi into Ari, to be honest. I think that
Wow, you called it.
Nice.
I think we are getting a mid lane Vi this game.
Yeah, I mean that would be tight.
That would be something interesting.
You build
personally
it
have not seen
lethality.
it.
You
Yeah,
build
you
it
go.
lethality.
I have seen some TikToks and shorts. But yeah, I mean, Vi mid could be really interesting. It's definitely going to be more of the aggressive type of pick. Looking to punish Ahri. Wukong is going to be the pickup in the jungle, in the top side. Maokai Wukong is going to be flexed going into this draft. We will see where they line up as we load in, and we'll make sure to share that with you guys. But Wukong, the last pick, is going to be interesting. I don't really know how it goes into the Gragas. I imagine it's not very good because Wukong trades in, Gragas just body slam autos and walks away.
Yeah,
but-
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is top or jungle. I mean, I would think that it's jungle, just because.
Yeah, I would as well.
At least Maokai, you can build like the big tank action. But yeah,
Lotus Prestige draft just falling apart in the second part. They had a very nice, zone control composition, and then they picked two champions that don't really make sense to combine with the Varus and the Karma, because this would have been a great poke Varus game, how they set it up. But now it's really interesting because Varus has to now play around fights a lot more safely than he would have had to before. And this game is a whole lot more volatile with all the champs in this game so far.
I mean, yeah, this one's definitely gonna be bloody, right? When you see the Vi and even the Graves and Caitlyn Lux, these all these champions for Dorado want to get in and they want to be scrapping at all points in the game. And I think Lotus has a better they have a better team fight composition than what they had last game. But truthfully, I mean, I think they might fall into the same issue of they don't have enough damage, right? If this Varus gets behind, Arya is not someone that can fully carry it. Unless you're like 20-0, you can't really fully carry a team fight on Ari. But with at least damage wise.
Yeah, and we could have gotten debated here. We weren't thinking about these flex opportunities, but it looks like Graves might be going into that top side there for Bennett. Definitely not a pick that I think we've seen him on before, but Wukong is going to be flexed into that top side for now. We'll see what happens. I believe 20 seconds, right? Is the switch rule pretty much? If you swap after 20, it's like a remake, or it's a ban. I don't know. It's not good sportsmanship to swap after 20. It basically is just very hard to play against. Bennett on the Graves, I'm really curious. Doesn't really seem like a Bennett type of champion. I always feel that he is those. I feel like he plays more standard top laners and Urgot. Not really a Graves player, but Vi going into the jungle means that Gragas is going to be the matchup into Ahri. And something interesting to note is that if Ahri is able to land a charm onto the body slamming Gragas, it will stop his dash. A very strange interaction that I don't really like. Where getting charmed will stop you from doing whatever action you were doing, even if it's something that you yourself can't break out of. Has gotten me killed quite a few times in game. But we'll see, right? We're getting into these last 60 seconds where the teams are prepping to go into game, and we will see where these swaps line up. I imagine that if the Maokai goes into the top side, that they might swap Gragas into it and play Vi mid into the Ahri, but I could also be wrong. But just thinking about these drafts, looking at it, it seems like the first two picks for each team is them, really sweating and trying hard to play the meta, and then they just get bored
Yeah,
and
I
they
mean,
decide to pick whatever they want.
yeah, that definitely is kind of what it seems like. And as the clock's ticking down, I don't think we're gonna get any swaps here. I think it's pretty it's just gonna be what it is, and what they've locked in, and that's what it looks like it's gonna be. So Gragas into Ari mid and Grizz into Wukong top lane. We'll have to see. We'll have to see as we get into the game, but until then, we are going to take a short break for the competitive integrity spectator delay. So, will Dorado Omega be able to take it into and secure their first win of the season? Or will Lotus Prestige force a game 3? We'll find out shortly. We'll be right back.
The era of metal has begun, and metal shall prevail. For we know what they have done. 5 legends of our realm who sought to follow the path of their dark musings. But they did not know what they had summoned. Pentakill. To these creatures, there is but one thing left to do. Heavy metal.
And we are back onto the Rift for game number 2 between Dorado Gaming Omega and Lotus Prestige here. We got a dance-off going on in this mid lane, which is always fun.
Yeah, nothing spicy happening. Jacob and Hoshi getting fairly close to each other. No one deciding to throw a spell. Let's see. Yeah, we're asking when KDA Gragas is coming out in the mid lane.
It's a good question.
I would like to see that skin.
That could be tight.
I think it would be horrifying, but I think everyone would like to see it. But looking at this, junglers are dropping wards on top side and resetting. I don't really know why WrestleMe reset if they weren't going to pick up the sweeper, but you know, doing it because it is habit, I suppose. And this could potentially, maybe next week, but this could potentially be the last day that we see these sweepers or these wards down into reset for sweeper, because the sweeper timer is getting increased by 30 seconds at rank 1. But Banger could be an invade onto the spot side. We do have Caitlyn Lux, very strong.
Oh, the flash in for Hoshi gets the double root. Machi firing away.
Machi
Hoshi
didn't
taking
level
pretty
anything.
low. Oh, as Banger now goes in,
It goes to Jacob.
Secured by Jacob. As now Banger has to flash away to safety. Another root lands for Hoshi, but blue buff going over to the Karma.
Oh, it's a horror. It's
It
a
is a
horror for
disaster.
everyone.
Absolute disaster.
Hoshi flashes, lands the bind. Machi does not have anything leveled up, does not level trap in time, so is forced to then level Q instead. Both junglers missing smite, Banger smiting early, and Jacob taking the blue buff away, but they think it auto attack. I mean, WrestleMe comes out of this ahead of Banger at least, being able to still hold on to that smite. I mean, is down a blue buff, but you know, we have to see what Jacob is able to do on this bot side with the blue buff now, I say, as they're already getting pushed under tower. Hoshi and Machi, you know, I think coming out of this ahead somehow. Machi up already 8 CS, Bang going for a level 2, only having done Raptors on this mid lane here. I don't like that look at all. Banger just wasting time in the mid lane. But yeah, I mean, very spicy level 1. I think WrestleMe comes out of this ahead, and we'll see how this game goes from here. We expected it to be bloody in draft, and you know, while no blood has been properly shed in this game, it is fairly bloody already.
Yeah, an absolutely crazy level 1 coming out there, and you know, for the time being, tempo is in favor of WrestleMe, like you said, able to keep that smite on the top side of the map now. And you know, losing that blue buff is a big deal though, especially on Malcolm, because you kind of need saplings and mana to actually deal damage to the camps early game.
Yeah, you do, but dude, Banger is playing this game so aggressively, and if anyone watches LEC, he's playing this game how Malrung would play this game. Is going for the most aggressive, unorthodox pathing you've ever seen. Is opting to not even consider their top side. Going for this crab is gonna actually look to go for this bot side. I do like this look, despite the deficit. This has to work for Banger. If it does not work, his game is over.
Yeah, it's okay. Jacob should get caught here. Gonna use the flash. Oh no, the heal is enough, and just bad goes to worse now for Dorado and this jungler here.
Yeah,
not
but
able
it's
to
not
find
as
the
bad
kills.
as it could be. Not nearly as bad.
Could be worse.
WrestleMe did a transition gank through mid lane and was not able, or did not realize rather, that Banger had not done their top side yet, and so is instead just forced to go onto the bot side. Goaty has no mana, trying to get a good amount of damage onto Elo, but with no flash on Banger, it's not really threatening anything. And Banger turning right back down to the bot side. While this does seem a little bit psychotic, right, we have to remember that Banger is playing with this Caitlyn Karma lane. It's just gonna take almost their entire health bar in a single trade from Yeetloaf. And now we see WrestleMe back in the mid lane, potentially gonna look to hover this play, but it's, every jungler has lost their mind in this game. I don't know, I can't tell you what they're thinking, as we see Bennett getting a very nice trade onto Zongi.
Yeah, this is just a crazy one. Here's WrestleMe going in with the flash to follow through. Goaty has to flash away as well. Yeetloaf has the flash, will follow it up with some damage. Bangers on the way over here. Does not have the flash themselves, but might just be killing themselves. No, instead going to be able to use that Q out. And still no casualties in this game, and it feels like everyone is just like so aggressive, but can't find the last ticks of damage.
And now Banger will lose their blue buff as a result of this. WrestleMe is finally gonna pick up the blue buff in this game. Got it taken away by a support in the first instance. Banger actually could walk into a sapling here, and that could be disastrous
Has the smite.
for the
Wrestling
Vi.
doesn't have smite. Oh no, just gonna reset instead. And yeah, I mean,
Oh.
now that that blue buff is gone, Banger, is gonna be starting to fall more and more behind. Still has 2 camps on the top side, which is looking at it from the bright side of the Dorado jungler, but nonetheless, it is gonna be rough. And Dorado, despite all of their early game activities, find themselves with a couple hundred gold lead somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I want to point out the CS numbers. Look in bot lane, Matchy has 20 is double Akon's goal or Akon's CS currently, and Bennett backed on a very nice wave that was then stacking towards him in that top side, and we'll pick it up. And Banger's back in the mid lane.
Whoa! Cass comes through. Oh, and the charm cancels out the body slam. That's the exact animation you were talking about earlier.
Here we go, Banger, please.
Oh, but Banger's going in with the flash.
My eyes.
Oh boy.
Banger, go hit some camps, please. You're level 3. It's 7 minutes into the game. Banger's gonna probably take this bottom crab now and look to dive the bot lane would be my guess. That seems like a Banger play in this
Whoa,
game.
Bennett.
WrestleMe is gonna I don't like
the
this
Q
play.
goes the wrong way. Oh, the collateral damage not enough. Just 1 HP for WrestleMe naked there. Zongi's still going in with that cyclone, and oh my gosh, still no casualties in this game.
Yes, single digit HP for the Maokai there after that play. Had not reset on the tree. Oh my goodness. This is some exciting League of Legends, but also some scarily I don't want to say bad, but like whew, I was not expecting this from these teams. They're playing so aggressively and somehow no one is dying.
Unorthodox, maybe.
Unorthodox, yeah, that's the play way to say it. Unorthodox League of Legends. I mean, Bennett is in this game, is going to be going for, I believe it's going to be that shield bow maybe, as Vamp Scepter no longer builds into the Eclipse. So it'll probably be that shield bow in the top side. Maybe it could also be that Ravenous Hydra. Mid lane is going to be probably going for that Rod of Ages, would be my guess. And honestly, we will see what Banger goes for. We talked about the lethality build in draft.
Ooh.
Banger, yeah, very aggressive.
Banger could be in trouble here. Gonna get rooted up. Charm connects as well here. That's a lot of damage.
This be the
Ignite
first
taking
blood?
down as well. I think it will be, as first blood goes over to Yeetloaf.
Yeah, Yeetloaf picking up that first blood is actually going to be very nice in this lane. Goaty has been kind of running train on this mid lane. But, as a trade, Akon is taking a massive beating on the bot side. Does get rooted up, but does not get punished for it, as Matchy was channeling the ace in the hole and could not drop the trap. But 2 plates down on that bot side means that Caitlyn is going to have a massive gold lead. Already up 600 gold on the Varus, despite, all this attention and all this action happening. WrestleMe potentially looking to punish Goaty. Saw the angle.
Saw the angle, but the calculations were not correct. Not precise there. First dragon of this game is Chemtech. No one has even turned their sights to it at all. I mean, it's just been all action, no objectives so far this game. And, even with that first blood going over to Yeetloaf, still a 600 gold lead in favor of Dorado in this game.
Yeah, I mean, and I could point you to the explanation, right? We talked about it before. The CS numbers are just looking dire for Lotus Premier. Look at the mid lane CS. Banger almost has as much CS as Yeetloaf, who has been farming this entire game. Goaty actually could be in trouble here. Does have flash again. Cosmic Insight being very nice in that manner. But I'm really curious to see, where this game decides to break open. It could be in that top side if Banger and Bennett do collide or do come together to go for that Herald. We see WrestleMe going up top there. Does have the Nature's Grasp available. Could look to punish the Graves, but is instead going to opt to finish those Krugs and try and continue working on those biscuit stacks. But yeah, we talked about it sort of at the start of the game, right? We saw that Akon is going to be going for that poke build and falling behind on a lethality based build. While it's not super detrimental because lethality items are a little bit cheaper than crit items, it just means that you're not going to be having, you know, that level advantage that lethality, you know, really needs to get going. But I mean, I want to see Banger do something with this bot lane, right? We have the Caitlyn and the Lux who are so far ahead in this matchup, and you know, if just a little bit more pressure is applied, could break open the game. I see.
Yeah,
Dragon has
absolutely.
started.
It feels like we're kind of, both of these teams are just pressuring each other. Eventually, that pressure is going to snap and it's going to be explosive. But Dragon started up early by Dorado Gaming. They're going to secure it in Akon now. Going to get aggressed on here using the flash and the chain of corruption. Banger! Going to get absolutely one-shotted there, as now the rest of Lotus is joining the party here. On the top side, Bennett is in trouble. Going to get solo killed by Zongi. 4 kills to 0. Lotus Prime.
For Dorado.
Premier, sorry.
Yeah, Lotus. I was really curious as to why Akon would walk up to the Dragon as it was taken to drop a ward. Why would you need vision on an objective that was already gone and you know that they're there? But it was in fact just a bait to get Banger to go a little bit too far, and because Banger has not been able to farm and not be able to buy those items in this game, was super under leveled, does not have those base armor and health in the game, and so as a result, with combination, you know, of the Mantra Q and the chain of corruptions from Varus, meant that Banger got one shot by the lethality Varus and Karma duo. And now, as a result, Varus is going to finish that Yomu's in the bot side immediately back into this game. Only down 20 CS, has a kill to make up that gold difference on the Caitlyn. Still down on plate gold, but still is going to be working, you know, is going to be on an even footing to that Caitlyn. And an even more disastrous thing is that in the top side, Bennett, who had been doing a marvelous job at keeping this matchup even and sort of keeping Zongi at arm's length, got a little bit too close and gave over a solo kill to the Wukong, who is now sitting on a full Divine Sunderer and is in a prime position to take over this top lane.
Absolutely here, and you know, if you're Bennett, this is the worst case scenario here, as Jacob on this roam gonna get blinded for the time being, but Bennett will get rooted up here, and should be enough damage to take him out as Zongi finds the second kill of the game. But bottom tower breaks in favor of Dorado, and this Caitlyn is quite strong right now. It does have a lot of CS, about a 25 to 30 CS lead on Akon, and has that tower. So yeah, strong lead, but Herald taken by Lotus here is going to give them that objective advantage.
Ludi, if you don't mind swapping to the gold view, I kind of want to talk about where these gold differences lie. We have about an 800 gold lead for this Caitlyn, right? Which is making up, I mean, more than, you know, the gold lead currently, right? And I say that as we have this Herald that's going to break down these plates. But looking at the top lane, we have 1,000 gold advantage for Zongi there. That's going to just continue to increase as they wail on this turret. Junglers are even 600 in favor of WrestleMe. The mid lane is probably the most even lane that we have besides support, right? With only about a 300 gold difference between Yeetloaf and Goaty, purely from that CS lead that Goaty has. Zongi potentially gonna get caught here.
They got it. Man, this is rough, especially when you rotate 3 members up to this play and you can't even find the kills. I mean, Dorado just trying to make any plays they can, and looks like they're gonna dive even further on this one. Or at least just secure and allow Bennett to take the tower and try and take away these Raptors. But oh, look at WrestleMe.
WrestleMe, I don't know
roaming
if you want
up.
this.
I don't think he wants this either. Not even gonna be able to take away the Krugs. Oh, there we go.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Smites it
The
as a
Krugs reset.
Yeah. Banger missing out on those Krugs just a little bit there. But I mean, these gold leads are just so much in the favor of Dorado individually for the most part, if you are not Bennett. Bennett, I mean, again, was doing well, but, you know, just made that one mistake in the top side, died solo, and meant that Zongi was able to take almost the entire turret.
WrestleMe, look at this ulti. Nature's Grasp comes through. Matt G has to flash away, burn both of those summoner spells. Does Akon have the snipes? No. As Matt G stands strong. Oh my gosh. I cannot believe he turned to Q there. That was crazy.
Yeah, that was a very aggressive Piltover Peacemaker from Matt G, trying to get the damage that would not have made any difference. Zongi looking for Bennett. Bennett does have the damage reduction there, but Yeetloaf this Ari is so squishy. That was a support Lux with a single amp tome's worth of items bought so far. Able to do that much damage onto Yeetloaf. As they are on vision, Goaty is in the area and does have the finished Rod of Ages that is already stacking in this game. I really like this Gragas build. I am a big fan of what Goaty is doing this game. I think Rod of Ages into Seraphs is a very strong build and a very nice build on Gragas. Does synergize well. Oh, Jacob could get caught in the flash.
Could be in trouble. Gonna get aggressed by Banger here as Matchy is gonna find the last hit. They have to watch out for the rest of Lotus though. As the flash comes through for Banger, they're on to Wrestle Me. Wrestle Me has to flash away to safety as Ace in the Hole is gonna do a little bit of extra damage, and looks like Dorado's gonna start up this dragon. I don't think this play is not over. This play is not over at all here because there's still a lot of opportunities for Lotus to win this fight, but with
Matchy is
Zonky,
dead.
What happened? Matchy just died somehow as now Zonky goes into the back lines here. Cyclone is huge, finds Banger on the back line, it's still alive, will not die. The monkey goes crazy in that team fight, and that's a 5-for-0 clean ace for Lotus.
And I think Matchy got caught by the Ari ulti, but a very nice look at this replay here. We have the massive CC stacking of the Nature's Grasp as well as the Cyclone coming in. Just means that Lotus is able to run over the side of Dorado Gaming Omega. Just very nicely played as a team there. Zonky making a very nice roam down from that top side. They're opting out of trying to take that tower on the top side, knowing that they can get it later on into the game, and opting not even having to use their TP, just walking down from the top side to the flank of Dorado Gaming means that they're just going to get completely cut off. And this is a trend that we saw in week 1 when Dorado Gaming was on stream. We saw sort of a bunch of the team having a similar mindset of how to play and how to move around the fight, and Matchy sort of being somewhere else. You know, I don't know if it's a communication issue going on within their voice chat, or if Matchy thinks that they should be moving around the fights differently. But either way, Matchy got caught out immediately there by Yeetloaf and was one shot, I believe, by the Ari. Hoshi trying to get some poke down onto Jacob is going to still be stacking that support item, but I mean, it's sort of a disaster from Dorado, right? You had one nice catch onto Jacob, but then Lotus knew that they were able to still fight you in that 4v5 just because of how fed their members are. And now we have a 3k gold lead for the side of Lotus Prestige, and Dorado Gaming is looking a bit worse for wear as we move into this mid part of the game. They're even on dragons, which is nice. But Goaty, I don't know if you're allowed to actually step up to the Wukong here.
Yeah, for now, Goaty will be fine. Not going to take too much. It actually trades back pretty well, but you don't want to take an extended fight here as Zonky goes in with the Cyclone. Nice cast to get Zonky under the tower. Second Cyclone comes through and another tower shot for good measure, but for the time being, both of these both of these laners sitting at about 1/3 HP. Zonky getting taken pretty low, but look at Bennett on the other side, caught 1v4. What happened? How are you over here? Flashing away. Oh, look at this. Banger has joined the party there onto Zombie Assault and Battery as the shutdown comes through on to Goaty, but Bennett falls across the map. 1-for-1 so far, but that is pretty much the best play that Dorado's gotten all game.
You're definitely much more happy if you are Dorado Gaming. Unfortunately for Banger, they will not be able to find any camps on the bottom side of Lotus Prestige, and will be trading their blue as a result for that play. But you get an extra 550 gold off of that Wukong. I believe it went on to the Gragas as well, and so you're very, very, very happy in this game so far. I do like the fact that Banger went for this this cleaver first, just because you have the Graves and the Caitlyn who are going to be outputting as much damage as possible. Any armor shred could be a difference maker in this game, and we see both junglers completing their jungle items at the same time. Means they are going to have that shield and extra tenacity as we move on into these fights. But I mean, the gold lead is still has not really moved too much, right? We saw Lotus get that kill onto Bennett as well as pick up the Herald, which does give through 100 gold. But Matchy is going to step up, could actually catch them on a bad rotation. See if Matchy has the confidence to take this whole turret down. And it looks like they will. Knows the Lotus on a rotation, or sorry, on a reset. And so nicely done from Dorado, knows the timing of the enemy team and has enough vision to be secure in their positioning in this game. But now, yeah, we should be seeing teams resetting on the map shortly. We saw Lotus just do it there about 30 seconds ago, which means they probably will be on the map now for the rest of this timer before the dragon spawns in about 90 seconds. But we should see Dorado get their resets out. Hoshiumi is sitting on the map currently with no wards to his name to try and prep vision. And so I don't really know if Dorado will be able to actually step into this river for this dragon setup. And with that in mind, maybe we could see them look for a trade onto the top side, potentially that top tower.
Oh, look at Zongi.
Yeah, Zongi is on the flank here.
Big flank angle for Zongi. And yeah, I mean, the only way that Dorado can step up into this play is finding a pick beforehand. While they do have the numbers advantage, but Bennett's still in the top lane. And with Goaty backing, they kind of lost that opportunity. And for the time being, Lotus is going to take control of this river here. And yeah, Zongi looking after Bennett, but Bennett's just going to be able to get out with the usage of that ultimate and be fine now.
But Zongi did
If you look
just
at the
enough
vision
there. Yeah, Zongi did just enough there to pull Hoshiumi up towards the top side, which means that there's no one down on the bot side to contest this vision. And I really don't know what Dorado is doing, right? Hoshiumi is resetting so late onto this bot side, and it's not going to be able to contest anything. Maybe it is, yep, just as we were saying, going to be going for that top side banger. Very nice flash to avoid the Bramble Smash coming out of Maokai, rather.
Barthelty also used
from Lotus, calling the bluff. And with no Caitlyn or Lux to defend that mid tower, just easily taken from Lotus, and now they get to go take the bonus dragon for their troubles. Pings onto the second tower as well from the Caitlyn and the Lux means they are going to continue going. So we'd like to see, yep, the Wukong is going to TP, is going to catch that wave and deny the push.
Absolutely, and this means that Lotus is going to secure their second dragon of the game here. And it is Ocean, so we're going to get some of that increased regeneration in this one. And whoa, wait a minute, Goaty, you are a bit too far forward here as the cast gonna knock Akon and Jacob back. We'll see if Goaty can get out of this, and it looks like for the time being he will be able to, as Bennett has TP'd into the play. But yeah, I think everyone's just gonna back. And I mean, the gold right now that Lotus is sitting on, Varus has 1700, and even Zongi in the top lane has 1700, so just a lot of spending gold for Lotus. And you know, there's got to be something that changes for Dorado here. They got to find picks. They got to get some of these shutdowns if they want to get back into this game.
Yeah, I mean, something to note, right, is that while Wukong is very strong currently in this game, Gragas is just about as strong as the Wukong. I mean, almost 2k gold difference, but in terms of items, the Gragas has two very high value items in that Seraphs, as well as that Rod of Ages that is about to take over as well. Towards that 10-minute timer, and the game seems to be looking for a very interesting angle. I don't really know if it'll work out. Hoshi, yeah, is just gonna get spotted out by this ward. Goaty as well gonna look to clear it. I wonder if this works. Zongi is sitting on the top side, so they know that this fight is inevitable.
Oh, Banger is going so deep here. We'll see if they can catch Jacob, but oh, look at Zongi destroying the bottom lane of Dorado Gaming, even flashing forward to get Matt G, and a double kill comes through for Zongi, as now Bennett donates himself into the play as well here for a potential triple kill. No, as WrestleMe gonna find the last hit on that one, and the gold lead extends, and pings are going on to Baron.
Yeah, going on to Baron when you take down 3 members of the enemy team is definitely, you know, you're allowed to do that. It's definitely something that you can take. I mean, Dorado Gaming just tried too hard to force that play to happen, as somebody is trying their very best to deny that blue ward and is just clicking the Baron. Could not click on the ward behind the Baron, but I mean, Dorado Gaming, I feel like once Hoshiumi is spotted out on that ward, I feel like you never actually go for that play, because Lotus knows you're there, right? And if you step forward, and if they step forward and know you're there, there's no shot that they're stepping up without having people in the wings ready to come and fight you. If you're Dorado Gaming, you're not allowed to actually take that fight unless you already have the vision set up behind them to know that there's no one there, there's no one waiting for you behind them. But either way, very nicely played from Lotus Premier, being able to, or Prestige, Lotus Prestige. Yeah, I'm gonna make that mistake a few more times. Very nicely played by Lotus to pick up that Baron. Is gonna rocket them to a 6k gold lead. I mean, to their credit, Dorado Gaming has been able to keep this lead relatively close despite the blunders made so far in the game. Just purely due to that CS advantage. Still a 60 CS lead for Goaty in that mid lane means that he's still very much in it. as well as everyone else, but ooh, Bennett was not paying attention.
Oh, Bennett. Bennett's gonna get aggressed on here. Caught by the ultimates and go down again. Last game, Zongi was the one that was having a rough time. Now this game, Bennett has taken that slot away. Jacob gonna get chunked out, but no threat of dying as no one else is around for Dorado there. And top lane tier 2 is gonna fall as well, and just more and more gold in. Zongi continuing forward, doing so much damage to Matchy and just getting out effortlessly.
Ooh, Matchy taking so much poke damage as well means they are going to be forced off this tower, and Akon should be able to hit alongside Zongi, and it's really unfortunate. Bennett, I think, was caught with the shop open, not seeing the sapling fly into his face, and as a result was slowed to the point where Zongi was able to catch up, and this tower, I think, is still going to go down. Maybe to one more auto. The cannons should switch aggro and will drop that tower. Yilo is going to take a good chunk, whiffs all of their abilities.
Ooh,
He's going to
Goaty.
use the Everfrost.
WrestleMe has to flash away as Cody was
Yeah.
looking to engage there. He wanted something.
Opting to flash early instead of trying to, preemptively, or instead of trying to reactively flash that Gragas cask means that Dorado Gaming is going to be able to step into this river first and contest the dragon. Keep in mind, this is third dragon for the side of Lotus Prestige, which means that it's not the end of the world. Dorado Gaming is forced to give this banger.
Oh my gosh, Banger finds the kill there as Jacob just walks in blind, and this is the pick that we were talking about. Is it enough though on the Karma? I don't know if that's enough to actually dissuade. Whoa, whoa, Banger going a little bit crazy here. Now Zongi's gonna engage. Oh my goodness, look at the damage here. Is Matchy gonna get rooted up? Cleanse away is nice. Zongi's 1 HP, Matt auto one time, but no, cannot as Zongi goes on a rampage. Now Bennett is next under threat. Hoshi 1 HP. All of the members of Dorado are 1 HP as Zongi around on the back. That is going to be a triple kill. No, a quadra kill for the Monkey King. Zongi going crazy in this one.
Yeah, just before that fight, I was going to say we had seen this exact setup before. We saw Jacob get caught by Dorado Gaming once before, but it doesn't seem to be deterring Lotus at all in this game as Goaty, trying very hard to keep this game alive, is going to be stuck in a 1v4 until the rest of his team spawns in about 5 seconds time. We'll have Matchy and Hoshiumi in support, but Lotus doing a very nice job just playing it safe, playing it standard, going for 2 inhibs, and we'll back away and take dragon number 3. I mean, whew.
I kind of feel like Lotus can end this game whenever they want. I mean, all they have to do is just fight one time, and they should be able to just push down and end. But
Yeah,
you know,
pulled Dorado Gaming just far enough away from their Nexus towers that you should be able to find a fight regardless of the positioning. I mean, Akon is doing a lot of damage, has not even ticked over on that immune yet. So we will see even more damage coming out from this Varus. The Wukong is backing, has about 2,000 gold. Maybe we'll be able to finish that full item. I believe they're building the Maw. It's going to be close to finishing it. Is sitting in base, probably going to finish it, I imagine. But I mean, just looking at the item difference, right? You have 2 items plus components for Maokai compared to the 1.5 of this Vi. We have 4 items on Zongi compared to the 2 supportive items coming out from Bennett. I mean, the only person with an item advantage in this game currently on the side of Dorado Gaming is Goaty. And that's purely because of the CS lead that he's had against the Ahri. And while those items are great for Goat, the rest of his team is not around to do supplementary damage or even damage that could finish off the setups that he finds. Hoshiumi, I actually do like this pickup, is going to be going for that Morellonomicon. With the adjusted item build, it's now more of a penetration item as opposed to just a tank AP bruiser item. That's why they have picked up that, what is it called? The Hextech Alternator. But we see that Lotus is already trying to set up this Baron, right? Banger could get cut out here. Did get seen using the Q. But is instead just going. Ooh, they're playing this so solidly. They don't want to make any mistakes whatsoever. It is a very cautious style coming out from Lotus, but I do appreciate the fact that they're going through the proper steps. They're making sure their waves are pushed. They have gotten the proper vision and sapling setup for this Baron spawn, and they are going to look to take it right away. Zongi actually could get caught here. There are Dorado members.
I mean, I don't think anyone can ever kill this guy, to be honest. There's just he's too strong. I mean, 4 items. No one else, only one person has 3 items. Okay, well now with Machi just completed his 3rd item, but no one else even has 3 items on Dorado. So I don't know. I think it's a tough ask to see if they can kill Zongi. But Baron started up and taken by Lotus Premier there or Prestige, dude.
I
just
made the
keep
mistake,
picking
and now I'm
keywords.
making you making it. Yeah,
I'm
my
just
bad.
keep picking different P words, but yeah, Baron will be
I mean,
active, and yeah, I don't know how. I mean, it
Magi's
should
picking
just
up
be
the
one team
3rd
fight.
item. Magi picking up that 3rd item is great, but the entirety of Lotus Prestige has picked up their 3rd items, bar Jacob, who is a little bit far behind, but technically has 3 items if you include the warding item. But I did want to note that, while it is sort of a little bit sad that Magi and Goaty are the only people with 3 items, those 3 items on Matt G are incredibly strong for this Caitlyn. And if they're able to actually find a trap and find any sort of stuns or roots onto the enemy team, Machi with the burst of Hoshi could definitely look to knock someone down, but Lotus is making no missteps. They're playing it super safe and fast and just going right for the throat with this 3rd inhib take. And doing it very nicely, right? We have mid lane coming in shortly with the super minion. Jacob gonna take a bit of damage from Goat. We could see Goat positioning for this cask as well, but Dorado Gaming is just slowly bleeding out, have not been able to find a fight in their advantage besides the picks onto Jacob, and as a result, we have Zongi escorting these waves. We have top lane joining shortly. Bennett is going to go try and deal with that wave before it comes in, but with 2 waves, that should be more than enough for Lotus Prestige to make this end happen.
On to the Nexus towers they go. Here's Banger looking for a flash engage here. Finds a Akon, but there's no team to follow up at all here. And Banger is just going to go down. The Nexus towers are real low as Zongi's flashing in the backline trying to find the damage, but just going to force the bottom lane of Dorado to flash into the fountain. Zongi going back in, canceling the Cyclone. Going to get it rooted up, taking pretty low as Bennett's flashing forward. And 1K is going to go over to him, but the Nexus towers have fallen, and the Nexus falls as well. Lotus takes it to game 3.
Yeah, Lotus doing a very nice job coming back into that game. Showed that that the first game potentially was a fluke after that performance. But Dorado Gaming, I mean, we talked about it, right? The draft was, gonna lead to some bloodshed, and while they held back for as long as possible, Dorado Gaming did not find their fights, and as a result, it was a slippery slope towards the victory of Lotus Prestige. And just a very nice job overall. Zongi doing a great job to create that lead almost solely by themselves in that top side. That WrestleMania, I think, maybe had 1 or 2 stunts up in that top side. But doing a very nice job, became a menace, constantly harassing Hoshi and Matt G in those fights. Goaty tried their very best to make that play work, but we saw what the Maokai into Vi matchup looked like towards the end there, or at least I realized it there. But honestly, very nicely done, being able to use the ultimate from Maokai to sort of counter the engage of Vi, right? Vi goes forward, Maokai throws the ulti back, which means that even though Vi can go straight through the ulti, the rest of their team is going to get rooted up and not able to follow up on that engage. But either way, I mean, very nicely played by Lotus. I think Dorado Gaming as well have some, draft prep to do going into game 3. I don't like the Caitlyn look into the lane. I don't think it's that Matt G piloted it poorly. I just don't think it's the team style. I think they do a whole lot better when they're playing, all dive and all, crash onto your face sort of styles and champions. But if you're Lotus Prestige, I actually like what you came up with. I wish you would have been maybe a little bit more consistent. I think Yeetloaf was sort of left in the cold there. Did find a couple of nice picks in those fights, but ultimately, we'll have to see what they decide that they want to do going into game 3.
Absolutely, and we are going to take a short break, but we will be back for the pick and ban of game number 3 between Lotus Prestige and Dorado Gaming Omega. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it. And we are back for the pick and the ban of the third and deciding game between Lotus Prestige. There we go. And Dorado
Picked
Omega.
out fully there.
I had to make sure. Had to make sure that I was feeling it there. And Dorado back on the red side for this game. Lotus on the blue side. The same sides we had for game 1, I believe.
Yeah, red side with 100% win rate this game or this series so far. Or not red side. Yeah, red side.
Yeah, red side.
Counter pick OP. But we'll see. I mean, red side, yes, has been the winner, but I think it's more Caitlyn has been the loser. No one has really done enough to get it ahead. And with that Silas ban, I'm curious to see
Oh.
if we get something like a Sejuani or a Varus first pick from Lotus. They have been known to pick those. But we will see. Dorado Gaming, will they stick with a Jarvan ban, or will they smell that coming and go for something like maybe even a Seraphine ban potentially? That's another one of those champions that you could first pick. Wukong ban is going to be the answer. I do like that option for Dorado Gaming, as you know, Zongi had a very nice game on it and created a whole lot of problems for Dorado Gaming.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm interested to see what this first pick is here for Lotus. I mean,
They wanted the
it
silent
can be
ban.
Varus. Yeah, they wanted a Silas ban. It could be Varus, could be Sedge, like you talked about, and Sedge is the hover right now, so looking likely. We'll see if that ends up going through. Yes, it does. So Sejuani locked in again in this game, and I believe it was banned last game, right? So every game Sejuani not banned, it's picked.
Correct. Sejuani was banned last game. Jarvan has been banned by Dorado Gaming in both games so far. And I wonder if they are banning it because they think it's a priority champion and it needs to be taken away, or if they just don't want it played against them. Because I mean, Banger definitely can play it. I don't think of Banger as a Jarvan player. I think of him more as maybe like a Xin Zhao player, or maybe even Hecarim potentially. We could see the game. But definitely more of a fighter. Um,
Kindred.
Yep, that's one of those options.
Let's go.
I don't like Kindred into Sejuani. Personally, I think it's okay. If you wanted the Kindred, I would have taken Gragas alongside it, or I would have taken Gragas now. Just because, for those of you who don't know, the combination with Gragas and Kindred is very strong. You have the Kindred ultimate, which keeps everyone alive who is inside of it, and then you have the Gragas explosive cask that knocks people away, and so you can use the Kindred ulti and then knock everyone out with the Gragas ult. And finish them. But Lotus Prestige is going to keep it very solid and safe here. Sort of like they played out their last game. They're being very technical about it. They're playing the Sivir in the bot lane. I expect to see something like a Karma again. Just very nice combinations for Lotus Prestige. Maybe a Yumi as well could be an option, but she has sort of been gutted as of late. Or maybe Lotus decide to try and deny the Gragas. Yep. That is going to be the option.
Yeah, there you go.
It is interesting because you're sort of making sure. I mean, I guess you're technically flexing it between top and mid, but we haven't really seen either of these players playing Gragas. And Maokai is going to be the takeaway. I think that is going to be a Hoshiumi Gragas, or not Gragas, Maokai. I think it'll be a Hoshiumi Maokai.
It could be, yeah. It can also be taken into the top lane. Yeah, I don't really think you can play Kindred anywhere else that isn't completely grief. But
I think Kindred AD a couple times, but that was very specific. I think it was like Kindred Callista. And Dorado Gaming think that this Gragas could be a mid lane pick, and so they are going to take away the Olaf. I don't like that pick as much just because you do have the Kindred and the Varus, and Olaf could easily get taken down. But I guess Lotus Prestige, if they had an Olaf, would have an incredibly strong front line of Sejuani, Gragas, Olaf, and that could definitely spell a problem for you in this game. Camille taken away does potentially mean that Lotus is worried about the Camille into a potential non-Gragas matchup. I do like the Karma ban from Dorado Gaming, a very nice pairing for that Sivir. Also is something that can punish the Maokai support a whole lot. But something that Lotus does have up and available to them is that Ashe still. And Ashe is a very nice answer to something like Kindred, Varus, and Maokai. Just being able to permanently CC them down. Let's see what Lotus will ban last. I expect it to be another top laner.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it can be. I wouldn't even. Oh, okay. Well, Tryndamere. Yeah, I was gonna say I would. I would like to see someone who like a carry top laner, someone who would allow Bennett to just go crazy on it. And Tryndamere is that champ, so we'll see what Dorado opts to go for on blind for themselves here. If it's going to be just a mid lane again, they picked Fizz here in game 1 with their blind pick.
Maybe a
So,
Maokai top.
oh, Renata.
This draft is so weird. I'm not really a fan of it. I guess if you're, consigning the Varus to be on hit this game, I guess it's okay. You get the attack speed steroid from Renata as well as the last stand. Could be important when trying to deal with someone like a Gragas or a Sejuani. Varus will be going that cleanse anyway. But I don't think Lotus has. It's going to be a
Might be
Gragas mid.
Ghost. It might be Ghost again. It's Matt G, so
It could be. If he picks Ghost and Sejuani, I'm going to be upset. But it is going to be Gragas flexed. I think between support and mid. Now. Gragas,
Support and mid, we'll
could
see.
potentially be a mid or could potentially be a support. But I imagine it will be the mid laner here, and Lotus probably just thinking about how they want to round this composition out. Probably maybe something like. What?
Oh, wow, Xerath locked in.
But that doesn't fit at all. Why are we putting
This is an interesting
why
one.
are we putting square pegs into round holes? Or I guess
Well,
one
the,
very long peg into a not long enough hole.
What do you mean by that?
Like vertically, I'm talking like you're on a wall and you have like a straight up and down peg that you're trying to like put in. You're trying to push it
Okay.
into
I
it,
see.
you know?
I see. Yeah. I got you. I got you.
You couldn't have let that one go. You can...
Hey,
I know what I said and how it sounded. I was trying to move on. I was, just trying to leave it as it was, not trying to make any innuendos. Xerath is shoots straight laser, whatever. I don't care. Corki gonna be the answer for the Xerath. I don't think the Corki is gonna have a very fun time into Gragas. Purely because actually it could be good, but if he ever steps out of position, is gonna definitely be punished for that misposition.
I mean, the chat
It's
seems
also
to be
weird.
hyped for the Yeetloaf Xerath. So we'll have to see. I mean, they're giving me the impression that we're about to get a show.
Maybe. Is it Yeetloaf Xerath?
That's what everyone seems to think.
You're telling me it's Gragas support with Sivir?
It could be. I don't know. There's some options. But we'll have to see. I mean, more than one person said that. So
I feel like Xerath mid would be even more grief than it already is here. Because
I haven't
if
seen
it's
much.
Xerath support, well, no, at least if it's Xerath support, right? You can be pushing and poking with the Sivir.
Yeah.
But if it's Xerath mid, you lose the pushing power of the Sivir because Gragas has to either commit, all the Gragas cask is I think a 13-second cooldown early on in the game, and so that's a very long cooldown trying to poke into double range. And Sivir is going to lose all priority she gains in the lane by doing this. But I mean, we'll see how this lines up. Lotus Prestige. It also would mean, realistically, that they made the Sejuani's life incredibly difficult by moving the only melee champion to the bot lane.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll see here when Yeetloaf hovers and then locks their pick. I don't really have a read on either of these teams right now because it looks like Corki. Oh, it is going to be Yeetloaf mid on that Xerath.
There we go.
But just thinking about it, right? I guess you have Varus and Corki who could be going for that poke style, and then you have Kindred who's more of the DPS focus. But then you're left with a solo Maokai frontline into Gnar, Gragas, Sejuani. And to me, that just seems very risky to try and, be stable with. If Dorado Gaming does not set up these fights well and does not, walk in to these fights, with the proper setup that they need, they could easily get caught out by things like the Glacial Prison, like the Explosive Cask, and like the Gnar. I think it's just called Gnar.
Yeah, Mega Gnar.
Yeah, I think the ability name is just Gnar.
Yeah, ability is
in
just
all
Gnar.
caps with an exclamation point.
With the exclamations, you gotta add them in.
Yeah,
Make it
Gnar.
entertaining. Yell at them. Everything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting seeing how this game actually goes. I could see it sort of going either way, but again, I think Dorado Gaming is forced to sort of snowball early. Otherwise, Lotus Prestige does have a very nicely set up composition to make them suffer. Um, if actually, let me rephrase. If Dorado Gaming is able to pick up a dragon or two in the early game, I think they'll be golden. But if Lotus Prestige is able to stack dragons on spawn from the early game, it is going to be a massive problem for Dorado because I don't think that they will come online fast enough to properly contest Lotus Prestige by the time a fourth dragon would spawn.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. And I mean, I think it's going to be about this early, and the early game is going to be huge in this one because, whoever can get ahead, if Sivir and Gragas, if the Sivir is able to get scaled up and get some early kills, this champ goes crazy later in the game if you can get farmed up and you can get those items on it. So interested to see how we'll go here. Corki again, slow to start up. A champion that also needs those items in, and I can see Corki getting bullied out of this lane pretty hard here.
Yeah, definitely a range advantage for Lotus Prestige, but we will all see where this game 3 leads us. Will Dorado Gaming be able to pick up their first win of the season so far, or will they go down in another 2-1 fashion? Lotus Prestige looking to pick up their second win as well, but going into this game 3, it's going to be really exciting. We are going to take a quick break. I don't know if we have a poll going, but if we do, please get those votes in and those predictions. But we will see you in a few minutes just as we go through this spectator delay.
And we are back onto the Rift for the deciding game between Dorado Gaming Omega and Lotus Prestige here. Pretty standard, just like we saw in game number 2. Little 5-point going on, or somewhat 5-point going on there. Just trying to get any intel or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to walk in. I mean, again, no one is able to set up this Sejuani E, but we'll actually get the ward down regardless, so should be pinged out. They will know that the red is warded. But I'm already angry, Rye, going into this game.
Why?
We talked about it in draft, how Matt G should have taken cleanse this game rather, but has instead opted to take the ghost. So I've decided that every time he gets hit with Sejuani ulti and gets punished for it, I'm gonna type it in chat. I will type the timestamp in chat.
Okay.
If it doesn't happen, I can get flamed. I don't mind. Clip it, post it in banter, and laugh. But I think that Ghost really should be taken if you are one of the primary carries on this team. You don't really have, the wiggle room to be greedy with something like Ghost. I don't think you really need it. Because a champion like Gragas and like Silver will be able to catch you regardless of whether or not you have Ghost. So it doesn't really do you too much there unless you're, expected to fight early and you really want to be able to space those autos well. But I mean, going into this, sorry, go.
We saw what he did in game 1 with Ghost at level 1, so
We did.
maybe that's that's what he's thinking.
Wants to die again at level 1?
Something like that, yeah.
That said, both junglers starting on their respective blue buffs. Yeetlove getting a nice little trade in the mid lane using that first strike to their benefit. Banger actually going for a standard path this game instead of going for some of those crazy pathings we've seen them go for in the earlier games, I say, as he's immediately walking towards the red buff. Is going to be warded out, though. So this could be really risky, but actually does a nice job sweeping it out, but is still going to go for the invade. Yeetlove does have the move potentially and is angling for it, but Resami has done a very nice job here. Is going to look for a Banger. We'll find them now.
Oh, here we go. As Banger is going to get stunned up. Has the flash available, but Goaty is here on the roam as well. So for the time being, oh, wait a minute. Hoshi is caught on the wrong side of the map here. Akon, smack him down. Q's not going to land, and that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, a lot of damage going into Hoshi. Does hold on to the flash, though, but this is disastrous for Banger. I was going to say, yeah, he's going to be forced to reset here because not only is Kindred Clear not very healthy, you don't have the health to do your red buff, but you also need health on this champion to be able to contest the first crabs that spawn in 10 seconds time. And if Banger is not able to take advantage, Goaty falling a little bit behind in that trade. Oh, Yeetlove, hold on.
Yeah,
with Botcap being the mark, Banger is unlucky, both in the fact that he loses tempo being forced to reset, but also that mark is on the opposite side of the map from the wave that is both crashing for Bennett. And, it's just unfortunate. So Banger is going to be able to pick up that red buff, but I think knowing the player that he is, will sort of go into a desperation mode now. I feel like Banger feels the weight of this game and will probably try and go for some crazy plays moving forward into this game as we see a hover onto mid. But something interesting with Kindred actually is that I hope that Banger is doing this actually is you can wait if it's your first mark. Your first mark will always be on a scuttle crab. So if you wait 30 seconds after the other crab is taken, your mark will respawn onto the other crab. And assuming Banger knows this, should just be going, is going to be going back to their raptors and will come back to the mark once it spawns shortly.
There you go. That's some nice tech there. Nice Kindred tech. As you can see there, the mark has spawned on that top crab, and Banger's going to be able to pick that one up for themselves here. First dragon of this game is a Hex tech, and now it's going to be spawning in 15 seconds. Sorry.
Yeah.
Seems like Yeetlove has been doing well in this lane, but does end up, being about 10 CS down.
Yeah, it's about 10 CS down, but has been gotten the better of Goaty in terms of HP and mana trades. But we could see a potential gank onto this top side. Zongi is low and does not have a rage bar filled enough to fight the 1v2 if it breaks out. So instead, Banger is going to try and just let this wave naturally push back towards Bennett and cover this push. But an interesting roam up from Jacob is going to look to try and get this wave in on the top side. I actually kind of like this play. You're overloading with 3, which means that Bennett is not going to be able to hold this wave and threaten the Gnar with the Kindred as well. But we could see a dive potentially if Bennett takes too much damage before the wave hits tower. But this play is forcing Banger to stay around. It means that they're not going to be able to trade this dragon on the bot side. Banger sitting out of vision. Is not spotted quite yet. WrestleMe is going to find him now.
Yeah, this
Bennett.
could be rough. Oh, here we go. The dive coming through. Bennett is taking pretty low, but gets Jacob with the CC under the tower. First blood. It goes over to Zongi. But on the other side, Zongi is taking the tower, greeting, and a double kill is traded back by Banger.
Yeah, double kill traded by Banger. But unfortunately, none of those players were marked for the Kindred, which means that she's still only sat on 1 mark there. Banger actually could potentially go for this. WrestleMe does have flash. But Banger's still chasing, still trying to go for it. Banger could be overstepping here, but as a result, Machi and Hoshi are going to get some nice gold on the bot side. They get a plate, as well as Hoshi's Spell Thief stacks. So nicely played from Dorado. They get 2 for 1, and the kills go onto the carries, or onto the carry that needs it most in its Kindred.
Yeah, and with Kindred getting ahead like this, Kindred's one of those champs that you do not want to let get ahead early, especially if you can farm up those marks and start getting that increased attack speed and everything that comes along with those passive stacks. So we'll have to see what Banger can do if they can continue to make plays with this early lead that they have. But all the way around the map, leads for Dorado when it comes to CS.
Yeah, I mean, again, CS leads for Dorado. Even in that top side there, Bennett being denied the wave crash, but Machi
Oh.
going to be using that ghost.
WrestleMe is here. Nice Q from Hoshi, and Flash as well. Hoshi has the Flash to get away from that CC, and now Matt running him down here with that lethal tempo proc and the ghost. We'll see if there's anything here. As Banger joined. Banger has joined the party. We'll see if there's enough damage to take down Jacob. Fight or die comes through as well here, and Jacob goes back in.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the direction you want to be using your body slam in that situation. Could have definitely have used it to get out, but Goaty getting a trade gets instantly stunned by Yeetlof and is going to lose a whole lot of health.
Oh, Zongi.
Flash coming from Zongi. Oh, but with that Merc that's picked up, actually is able to create the distance and not be rooted long enough for Bennett to make it punish. But Goat doing a nice job of getting the HP trade in the mid lane. But Yeetlof, if he's able to land just a little bit more poke, could potentially look for the Arcane Barrage. I say, as it's actually not on cooldown, used it before. But I really want to see Dorado Gaming go for this dragon here with the health advantage that they've created on the spot side. I believe they were taking a mark for Kindred. And that's yes, as Kindred is now sitting on 2 marks. Was not able to get a mark on the Gragas. Jacob is here.
The solo kill. Jacob is here as well. Damage coming through. Bennett's so low. As Jacob, he's going to go for this.
Bennett has flash.
They're going forward. Bennett has the flash. Boomerang connects.
Ooh.
Flashes away. One more auto. Oh, it's not enough. As Bennett will live. And now Banger on the other side going to be invading in and stealing away this red buff from WrestleMe.
Yeah, misplays on both sides. I think if Bennett's gonna flash, you flash the boomerang before it hits you, as well as Zongi, who should make sure, or should not try and fade away with that auto if you aren't sure it's gonna kill. Also did have the reduced cooldown on that boomerang as they caught it on the way back. But either way, getting the flash out of Bennett, denying a wave, but trading the dragon as a result. And Lotus Prestige doing an okay job this game, staying in it, only down about 800 gold despite that tower play on the top side. Something to note though is that all 3 kills in this game so far have gone on to Banger, and as a result is sitting on already 3,500 gold in total, 1,000 gold more than what WrestleMe has, and is honestly looking pretty good to get. I believe it'll be that Kraken Slayer in this game, considering how tanky the enemy team is. But if you're Dorado Gaming, you're sitting pretty and you're very happy that Banger is set up in this game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I mean, everything is going right for Dorado in this early game. All the lanes have a CS lead. You have a super strong Kindred in this early game, has all of your gold. And even your top lane, who's been getting the brunt of the enemy attention, is still doing okay and still even. So
yeah, and something to know, right, is Dorado Gaming is finding success in an early game where they don't do something crazy.
Yeah. Whoa.
Who would have thought? But in all seriousness, they're playing it very well. Banger did a great job to read that dive on the top side and was rewarded handily for their efforts. Similarly with that gank on the bot side, Jacob maybe making a little bit of a whoopsie, giving that Kindred the extra kill, but doing a nice job as well. We'll see if WrestleMe is allowed to sneak away this Herald, as Zongi is low on this Gnar already. Does not have the Gnar bar ready to go either. Banger, could they find this play out? Let's check the vision. I mean, neither side knows that the enemy jungler is there. They're both just sitting just out of fog of each other. Banger's gonna maybe find this kill onto the
yeah,
Gnar, but I
Zongi's gone.
but I think Sejuani, yeah, is gonna be able to find the trade onto the Rift Herald. So I think, you know, while it's a little bit unfortunate that your Gnar goes down, I think you'll find that takeaway even better if you are Lotus, because you get that 300 gold from the Scuttle Crab, or the Herald rather, as well as you get whatever plates that you use it for, and even more so, that wasn't a mark for Banger.
Oof.
So nice smite coming out
Oh,
from
Matt.
WrestleMe.
Wait, certainly they can go, right? I guess. Scared
Maybe
of the
they're a little bit
ulti.
afraid. Potentially. I mean, they have flashes up, and Akon has cleanse. So, I don't know. But either way, Banger now sitting on 2,000 gold will absolutely have that finished mythic by the time that they reset. I think they're trying to bait this next mark onto the crab. I don't know if it'll work.
Mythic and boots too.
Potentially. WrestleMe is going to catch out Goaty here.
Ooh!
Doesn't drop the
Chance of the
dash.
W. Oh, okay.
No flash
Here
now.
it goes,
No
Zerath
flash, no
ulti.
dash. Yeah.
Nah, it's not gonna be enough. But look at Banger now. Go in and try to find Yeetloaf. Oh, an insane stun from Yeetloaf. Knock back into the tower. Lamb's Respite's gonna be used. Is there enough damage? No. But the shutdown goes to Jacob.
Yeah, a little bit of an overstep by Banger. Honestly, a shutdown onto the Gragas is not too bad for the Gragas. I believe they will be still going. Ooh, what is Gragas going to be building actually? Is it going to be that Radiant Virtue?
Maybe.
Does have the setup for it potentially. Is definitely not going to be anything AP so far, but I mean, Banger died, was forced to reset and spend that gold. Is going to have the finished Kraken Slayer, not boots unfortunately, but is going to come back onto the map just in time for this dragon to spawn. I would like to see them path wolves down into bot lane. Magi is not sitting on any gold, so this is a very nice setup for Dorado Gaming. They don't have to reset. They're able to set up their vision onto this bot side and really hold it down until this dragon spawns in 30 seconds time.
Absolutely. Second dragon of the game is that ocean dragon, like you said, spawning in a little under 30 seconds now. And you have to imagine that Dorado is going to have all of the priority to get into that bottom side. You can see Banger's already there, already in that river. They already have the pink ward in the pit. However, Scuttle Crab in favor of Lotus in that bottom side. So we'll have to see here as Herald spawned up in the mid lane. Package is available as well for Goat, and we'll see if this Herald can get a crash or a charge in.
They didn't drop it.
Close.
No, they didn't. It's not going to get a crash, unfortunately, I don't think.
Yeah, not gonna get a crash. So quite unfortunate there for Lotus, and the camp gets stolen away by Banger as well here. So even more going the way of Dorado in this early game, and they already have this priority onto the dragon here. No TP on Zongi either. So Bennett can join the fight, but Zongi cannot if necessary. But somehow Dorado got pushed out of the river.
Bennett has a very nice flank ward though. Is gonna reset. Could potentially look onto that flank on the top side. Package is already used or timed out for Goaty. We will see where Bennett decides to go. Should be TPing in here.
Yeah, we'll have to see here as Zongi can do nothing but hit the tower top lane.
What is happening? Why are we TPing? Why are we TPing the tower? There's two massive flank
Unleashed.
wards.
Yeah, we're unleashed already. I mean,
I guess they just want to be able to sit on this flank, but could have done that earlier or done it on the wave instead. Maybe he was trying to do that sneakily. It seems that Jacob is snuck into a very interesting spot here. The dragon resetting means that Dorado Gaming is not able to pull it out at all. And Yeetloaf could potentially look for a steal with a combination. Oh! Secured by the Renata.
They're kind of just farming the camps. I guess they realize, listen, we're outnumbered here. They have their TP in, and might as well just give up the dragon and get top tower in exchange.
Yeah, I mean, gold positive play for the side of Lotus. And when I say gold positive, I mean they are up now 1,000 gold on Dorado Gaming. While Dorado Gaming's gold is very concentrated, the overall gold lead for each role is about a few hundred per. Not even, that's a lie. That's a straight up lie. The gold lead is about 1,300 for the Gnar, and everyone else besides the jungle matchup is about even. But Zongi is, in the driver's seat this game for the second time. First this Wukong game and now the Gnar game, and we will see if they're able to make the same sort of impact on a champion that is not as known for 1v9ing. But that Gnar definitely will be able to secure the side lane pressure if needed.
Absolutely. With that Traverse completed there, just more of that damage coming through. Has the Merc Treads. We already saw that come to be valuable one time this game already. So Zongi's feeling good here. But on the other side, Banger quite strong on this Kindred. Has 2 dragons for Dorado in this early game, and we'll have to see. I mean, it is Infernal Soul, so what better way to end out the best of 3 than with the Infernal Soul?
True. I mean, we talked about dragon stacking for Lotus in the pregame. But with Dorado Gaming picking up these early dragons, it really has secured them the ability to scale into this game so long as they don't make any blunders, trying to overplay their hand. I mean, looking at these items, right, we have the Manamune finish for Corki is still stacking that up. Finished Mythics onto the Kindred and the Varus means that Dorado Gaming is sitting pretty in this game so far. Sejuani opting to go for that Sunfire first as opposed to something like a Radiant Virtue, which would give them more value on their ultis, as well as more health to survive these poke trades. But Machi is caught on a corner, but is not gone on by Jacob. And Jacob did go for the Eventide, which I guess is a decent answer.
Oh! Glacial Shroud misses, and Goaty is able to escape for just a flash there. A lot of time wasted by the top end jungler of Lotus Prestige there, but looks like they're just going to turn their sights on to that Rift Herald, which just spawned, and secure their second Rift Herald of the game. Hopefully for them, this one actually hits a tower.
Yeah, but Dorado Gaming already knows that this play is going to happen, and Banger is sitting on the bot side ready to make a play onto this tower, as well as potentially onto their 4th mark on this bot side. Actually, no, is already sitting on 4 marks. I believe maybe picked up a 4th mark while we were off camera. Banger, ooh, hold on. Nope, we'll use the W to give vision for themselves. We'll cover this tower take. So very nicely done. We'll be able to trade some gold back, pulling the gold lead now to still within 800 or so. Dorado Gaming just slowing the Lotus slowing the pace down just a little bit, trying to find any kills that they can and give Zongi a chance to create pressure on this top side. But if this game goes too slowly, like we said, Dorado Gaming is just going to be able to come back into this and use the scaling that they have on their core 3 marksmen to just really roll over the game. But yeah, I mean, looking at the way this is playing out, I think both teams actually still have a good chance of making this play happen.
Yep, absolutely. We do get a little bit of a lull here in the action as taking a look at the overall game here. 1 tower taken by both teams. The Dragon lead is 2-0 with advantage to Dorado Gaming Omega. The next one spawning in about a minute. Goaty able to finish up that Hydra, Tiamat working towards the Ravenous Hydra there, and Machi going for the on-hit build, just like we saw him do in the first game of this series.
Yeah, I mean, and just looking at the vision setup, Dorado Gaming has very spotty vision, right? They can only currently see behind the tower in mid lane. They can see the Tri-Brush on bot side, but they don't see anything in either river, as opposed to Lotus, who have a very nice setup in mid. They can see over the back wall in mid. They can see the Pixel Bush entrance into bot river. So going into this Dragon setup, Dorado Gaming has a whole lot of work to do to catch up, and they only have 20 seconds to do it. But they have committed a lot of members to this push in mid, which means they are going to have first move to the river. But will someone get caught? A lot of poke damage coming out from low.
Glacial Prism goes wide as well here, and the mid wave was just able to be pretty easily cleared out by Akon. And now look at Goaty in the top lane, using the package there to get this kill. And somehow Dorado is still confident enough to start up this Dragon here. 4v4, TP coming in from Goaty. Should be able to secure it here, as it looks like WrestleMe is not even in the area to go for the steal here. And now sole point for Dorado Gaming, and they're able to pick up the kill in the side lane.
Yeah, Goaty making that Gnar Goldie look like nothing on the top side. Their package just being too strong, being able to burn down the Gnar while they were stuck in mini, and a bit of a blunder from Lotus. After the Gnar goes down and is not able to join you, I think you just try and leave that dragon pit area and use the Rift Herald that you dropped in mid lane. That once again, I believe, did not get the charge
No,
off.
it didn't.
And so, I mean, Lotus could have maybe traded for that mid tower, broken open the map a little bit for themselves, but instead are going to lose out on the top side, on the top lane push. They're going to lose out on the mid lane tower, as well as this third dragon for Dorado, and Zongi could get caught again. He's not going to get caught out, as Banger was on the out, and Bennett timed his exit from the bush a little bit poorly. But, I mean, we saw the potential, right? We saw the damage that Yeetluf had going into that fight, landing a good 30% chunk onto both Banger and Matchy as they tried to walk into that river. And I feel like if Dorado make that same mistake of not having their vision set up properly before the objective, they could find themselves in a whole lot of pain when trying to deal with something like a Sivir and like a Xerath later on into this game.
Absolutely, and now the Mura mana completed for Goaty. So just so strong on this Corki here, and I think gonna back soon. Should have Ravenous Hydra soon on the Corki here. Mark check right now for Kindred
It'll
is
be
at 5.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to see how this game plays out because I don't really know. Bennett going in on a trade. I don't think you actually beat Zongi in a 1v1 after you engaged.
No, definitely not.
Bennett taking a whole
Look
lot
at
of
this.
damage. Zongi could go mega and actually solo kill here.
Oh, but look at Hoshi getting caught in the top side of the jungle. Banger. Nice using the Lamb's Respite, but a cast will force Hoshi to flash away, and Yeetluf gonna find the damage as well. Now Banger having to run for the hills in the middle of 4, flashing over the wall. But here we go, right of the arcane. Do we have the snipes? One hits, one more. Not gonna connect.
This could be Baron. This could absolutely be Baron for Lotus here. And we talked about this interaction and draft with the Gragas and the Kindred ulti. And, you know, Jacob doing a very nice job knocking Hoshi out of the ulti, only to force them to flash back into it. Bennett TPing in after being forced out of bot lane means that Lotus could potentially be forced off this Baron at 5k, means that Lotus will be very low here. This could be a disaster.
Look at this damage from Goaty.
Yeah, Gochi doing a very nice job.
Oh, but Zongi trying to find the pick? No, cannot find it yet. Has to just dash away. Does Matchy have the snipes? It hits, but Zongi goes mega just at the right time to stay alive there.
Yeah, picks up the bonus HP from going mega just in time. Gains currently 600 health from going mega, and that influx of HP means that Varus is not going to have enough damage to take them down there. But I mean, a disaster averted if you're Dorado Gaming, right? You save the Kindred, who hasn't really been able to do too much with this 4-kill lead that they have. Certainly did not show that they had too much damage in that fight in the top side there. It looked like they were shooting peanuts at the Gragas and at the Sejuani, but making me eat my words is Jacob could almost go down here.
Yeah, nice cask to repel Banger's aggression there, and a lot of Dorado around this mid lane. You know, we still have about a minute and 20 seconds until this potential Infernal Soul for Dorado, and you can see Dorado's taking their resets. They want to try and play around this dragon that is spawning here, and package is going to be up in about 50 seconds, so about a 10 to 15 second discrepancy between package timer and when dragon is spawning. So Goaty will be able to have that in their pocket, and does also have the TP, so can get into the play at a moment's notice.
Zongi has to really play these next 50 seconds. Has to play these next 50 seconds really well. Cannot trade too much, too heavily. Cannot boost that bar too much. Even if you catch Bennett here, I don't think it can actually do much there. Actually,
Here we go.
Bennett could be caught.
Bennett's living for a long time. Nice use of the Nature's Grasp there, but the rest of the team is on the way. Goaty is here with the TP coming through, and Berserk is raining through. The rest of the team, 2 members of Lotus are down. That's the third to follow it up. And Ikon is flashing and trying to run for the hills, throwing the boomerangs back. Yeetluf might be able to catch Matt G here. What? Look at this. Matt G is just running. Oh, he flashed. Okay. I did not see that on my screen there. It just looked like Matt G completely ran through the stun. But that's 5 for 1 in favor of Dorado. They're going to be able to get this soul, and they're going to look to Baron as well.
Yeah, the 3 members of Banger, Hoshi, and Matchy will be looking to take down this soul, and I think that Goaty is going to try and take the dragon. But with Wrestle Me up now, we could see the Sejuani sort of sprint towards this dragon, and that's exactly what they're going to do. But that dive definitely seemed a little bit hopeful from the side of Lotus, right? They felt that they had the setup, they felt that they had the tankiness to knock down this Maokai, but that is not the person that you want to be going for, especially when Goaty has the TP available and you don't know where the other members of Dorado Gaming are. But with the Sparran going down, and I believe the Dragon taken as well, shortly. Camera is on Zongi for some reason. My apologies. I didn't see what was happening. But Dragon taken down further side of Dorado Gaming means that they are on Soul with a poke Corki, which is going to spell disaster if you're a Lotus Prestige. And what turned out, what looked like a very decent start to the game for them has turned into a disaster. You're just not able to survive the engage from Dorado Gaming. And Machi making me eat my words with this Ghost, doing a very nice job chasing down Akon, who coincidentally has not really been able to use the cleanse this game very well. So I was completely wrong with the summoner read, but Dorado Gaming looking in a very nice spot, 4K up.
Absolutely. Infernal Soul as well here, so that just adds even more to that potential, to that gold lead that is, not counted. And they're wearing Baron as well here, so a lot of members collected around this mid lane. I expect to see Dorado just try and push their way down mid lane, push their way into getting these towers here. And oh my gosh, Goaty, so much damage. Look at Banger on the side trying to take down Jacob and gonna force that ultimate out from the Gragas here. And this mid lane tower should go down as well with Goaty has the package and they could press the go button whenever they so please.
Yeah, Goaty looking to get into a flank opportunity.
Oh!
Yeah.
Look at it, there he goes. In, finds a kill onto Akon with the burn here, and that's 2 dead already. WrestleMe is the next target. He's dead. Jacob is also dead. Zongi 1v5. Do they have what it takes? Absolutely not here. As 5-0 clean for Dorado Gaming, and they're going to end this game.
Yeah, they're going to run it all the way to the Nexus here. Very nicely well played. Goat finding a very nice package at the end there, sort of putting on the carry pants. Banger as well having a very nice game, getting 4-0 and then using the advantage. Bennett just barely living there as everyone's taking turns on the tower there. Banger trying to finish their item. Maybe wants it for the post-game screen. Is going to pick up that board. But very nicely well played. Dorado Gaming picking up their first win of the season so far. Getting a very nice win and putting in a very nice effort in this game 3.
Absolutely. Dorado taking the series 2-0. Getting their first win of the CCS season. So big congratulations to them there. And, they looked really strong in the games where they were ahead.
Yeah, I think this is a Jekyll and Hyde sort of thing for Dorado Gaming, where they have great games and then they have not so great games, and those not so great games are not so great. Try to be respectful here in saying that because we are gonna have to interview them soon, and I don't want to get flamed. But no, I mean they played really well in the games that they won. The game that they lost, I'm sure they learned a lot in with regards to how to play around those picks that they had. Doing a nice job to play around the Kindred. Banger is playing a champion that sort of is hard to play in the skill bracket if you don't know what you're doing. Definitely a champion that has to be played around as opposed to the other way around traditionally where junglers play towards their lanes. So doing a great job. I mean, I say that even though the highlight of Banger's game, this was, covering the dive in top lane. So definitely a jungle supportive play as opposed to the other way around. But, the bot lane doing a nice job to invade and get marks for the Kindred meant that Banger was able to have that extended range, attack speed, damage to really help and set up this game for the victory. I mean, I would give my MVP to Goaty from these last couple games, just because was a very solid rock in all 3 games. Had the Gragas in game 2, this Corki in game 1. I believe, what did they play in game 1? The Fizz. I would actually like to question about the Fizz, but I'm sure Dorado Gaming has someone that they would like to send for a quick interview. Oh, did I time that right?
Hello?
Hello.
Hey, what's good?
Oh, nice. I called it. They did send Goat. Oh, wait, hold on. It's the boys.
We got both of us here.
Fair enough. It's the mid-jungle duo of Banger and Goaty. I don't know if Ludi's going to get a thing up for it, but we do have the jungle mid of Dorado Gaming Omega here for us. Guys, very proud for your first win of the season. How are you guys feeling after that game?
I'm feeling relieved.
Banger?
Feeling alright. I mean, it's nice to finally get a win, but it should have been 2-0.
I mean, that second game, I don't
Okay,
really
the
know if
second
you're in
game
a
was
position to win.
yeah, but we just shouldn't have lost to this team.
I mean, you didn't in the end, but I mean, you
Yeah.
guys played it well. You guys, in the games you won were super dominant. Can you guys take me through your drafts because they were somewhat questionable? Not questionable, but like I was really curious as to your thought process in these drafts. Goat, I
We
guess
ain't got
first of
none.
all,
We ain't got no thought process.
you ain't got no thought
Yeah.
process. Is that why the fizz came out into the
Oh,
fizz
oh,
blind
yeah.
came out? Okay, fair enough.
Sometimes you just gotta
Um,
ball.
if not draft, then sort of run me through what your team talk was between games 2 and 3 there. Um, I know, Bang, you're saying that you didn't want to lose a game to this team. You wanted to 2-0 them, but surely after a stomp like that, there have to be some words spread around amongst the team, right?
Personally, I was just flaming everyone. So yeah, I just had to like get it through their thick skulls that we're losing to fucking Lotus Prestige,
Ooh, hold
and
on.
they all needed a little bit of flame. Oh, am I not allowed to curse?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Flake can yell at you later.
Fuck, my bad.
Okay, fair enough. On brand banger. Um, yeah, I mean that sounds about right. That sounds about Omega to me. Um, and then sort of, can you guys give me some insight into sort of how you guys adapted? Goaty, did you play last night out of curiosity?
Yeah, I did.
You did? All right. How did you guys sort of adapt your schedule this week to play back-to-back matches, and sort of what did you take out of that match that you guys brought into this one today?
Uh, our main takeaway from yesterday is that we need to at least have one brain cell per draft. Zero don't quite cut it, but yeah, that was really our biggest takeaway. Play something that's playable, and we have a better chance to win. Crazy.
Fair enough. All right. Well, I mean, with your first one on the board, I want to give you guys the opportunity now to, lend or say some shout outs or whatever you want to say to the CCS community. I expect this to be fire. If it's not, I'll be depressed, but you guys do you.
Yeah, I got you. Shout out Zongi's mom. He's gonna be paying me $100 from your credit card, so you might not have groceries or your lights on next month, but cheers.
All right, perfect. Cody?
My shoutouts to myself is I'm gonna be playing way more carry shit this split, so everyone get ready for that.
More fizz. Love it. Anyway,
All
Rod,
right.
take us
Well,
away.
you've heard it here first here. Goaty and Banger, congratulations on your first win of the season here in CCS Intermediate. That's going to do it for us. I am Rychainz, joined by Septi. Hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Have a good week, and we will see you next Wednesday for some more CCS action.